everybody, and welcome to F1 Tonight UK. And we are here at the Circuit de Catalunya, or Barcelona, Catalunya, in Spain for the Spanish Grand Prix. Let's kick off with firstly having a look at the Drivers' Championship. So, leading the way on 74 points is Dylan Platt, still holding that lead. Second, Phil Harris jumps up to P2 with 48 points for Rocket Williams. In third place is Callum White on 45 for Mercedes. His teammate, Tom Stevens, is in fourth place on 37. In fifth, we have Ross Milburn, and what a fantastic intro he's had. Came second in China and first in Baku last week, which is why he's jumped right up there. Then we got his teammate, Sean Gregory, in sixth place with 29 points. Ryan Lear for Alfa Romeo is 7 on 21. Josh Diggles for Haas is 8 on 18. Gary McKenney is 9. 10 is Jake Sorrell, who's done a fantastic job as well, and he came in on the Ferrari drive and already up to P10. In P11, we have Adrian Rich in the Red Bull. P12, Tony Foster. 13, Daniel Burt. 14, Tom Johnson. 15, Thomas Cook, and Thomas Cook actually won't be driving with us this evening, as it is his 18th birthday. Yay! Big shout out to Tom on his 18th birthday. God, I don't even know if I can remember that far back. I don't know if Nicky's about. I'm going to let his voice be heard if he so wishes. Nicky, do you remember being 18?
It's been 11 years ago.
Ooh, okay. No need to be so precise, Nicky. No need to be so precise. I'm not going to be that precise, but never mind. Okay, so we got Thomas Cook in 15. In 16, we have Jordan Marshall for Renault, still to score points. Cameron Widdowson, his teammate, likewise. Then we have a new driver, Jamie Good, in the Racing Point. Jack Wilson as well, and Sean Street. So 3 new drivers for us. Jamie did, I think Jamie did compete, actually, in Baku, didn't he? If I remember rightly. I think he did.
No, we didn't.
No, he didn't. He didn't. So we've got 3 rookie drivers. So that's Jamie Good, Jack where are we? Jack, and also Sean Street. So Jack Wilson there. Okay, quick look at this championship table. Dylan obviously dominating there, as we can see, Nicky. But the Mercedes guys still in there, but only just. They've DNF'd. They haven't been putting together the results that we would have expected out of them, really, have they?
No, they haven't. They've been really unlucky, in my opinion. Severe crash that took out both of them in, was it China it was, I think?
Yeah.
And then an accident in turn 3 in Baku that took out Callum. And then later on in the race, Tom Stevens made a mistake and, put his car into the wall. So
yeah, wasn't good. Wasn't good for
not the results they were looking for.
No, I don't think so. Okay, let's have a quick look at the Constructors' Championship. So leading the way, unsurprisingly, Alfa Romeo on 95. Mercedes is second on 81. Toro Rosso third on 72. Rocket Williams are fourth on 48. 5 is McLaren. 6 is Haas. 7 Ferrari. 8 Red Bull. 9 Renault. And 10 Racing Point. Not a lot you can say there, really. Still looking pretty close, though, in those top 3, and certainly in that midfield. Go on to the track itself, the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, for the Gran Premio de España. España is so lovely. Okay, we have circuit length 2.892 miles. Total race length is 190.825 miles, and we are looking at 66 laps. 3 sectors. First sector from the start finish takes us down to just before turn 4. Second sector takes us from there to just before turn 10, and then the final sector obviously taking us round to the start-finish line. Only one DRS. The DRS detection point is, in fact, before you get to turn 9 with it. Sorry, 2 detection points. What am I saying? before you get to turn 9 and activates from out of 9 down towards 10. And then the second detection point is more or less level with the pit entry. And that activates on the exit of turn 16. Once you get on the straight, takes you just past the pit exit. A track for everyone, really, this, isn't it, Catalunya, Nikki?
Yeah, it's a nice track and used very commonly for test sessions. Everyone knows it. It's the first actual driving track, in my opinion, of the season. Long sweeping corners, then heartbreaking zones and chicanes. And
yeah, I mean, that Sector 1 is all about sweeping corners, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Sector 2 is all about hard braking corners and also not hitting your typical apex. Normally you look to hit that apex of the corner. Certainly on turn 5, you're not looking to do that, or indeed round 6, 7. You've got to watch the exit out of 7 into 8 as you're coming uphill towards that turn 9, and then you've also got to watch the exit of turn 9 because you've got the DRS. But if you lay down too much power, it's easy to spin out, isn't it, when you're coming around that 9 onto that straight?
Sorry, I lost you there. I was checking some messages from everyone.
That's nice, isn't it? He's not even listening to me. I said you've got to watch the exit. You've got to watch 7 and 8 when you're obviously laying down the power as you're coming uphill. But equally, when you're coming out of 9 down towards 10, you've got to watch laying down the power out of 9, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
And then you've got that really tricky last sector, which is, full of opposite lock corners. You come round 11. You've got to watch that speed ramp on the 11, or rather the ramp effectively on the apex of 11, because that can throw you as you come into 12. And then you've got that really hard braking into 13 as you go downhill into the final chicane, 14, 15. So, quite a tricky track, to say the least. Okay, so what we're going to quickly do, we're just going to transition across here whilst we get ready for the race itself. Nikki, I mean, obviously, from your point of view, you've raced this track. You raced it on Thursday. You told us that you hadn't actually done any practice. I find that, I've got to be honest with you, mate. I find that hard to believe, because where did you come in that race, Nikki?
Well, first of all, I really didn't put in a lap at all on the track on this game. Obviously, I've done this track on different games for the past couple of years, so I know the track. But on this particular game, I haven't put a single lap down. And yeah, I did finish first.
You finished first. By how big a gap was that, Nikki?
Was it 3? No, more seconds because of the penalty point. It wasn't big at all.
Wasn't big at all. No, it was quite a reasonable one, though, to be fair, wasn't it?
Well, he had six seconds penalties and I had none, so that's easy 6. And then I think he finished 3 seconds behind me, so I make it 9 or 10 seconds or something. I can't even remember.
Well, we're going to join the guys now in Q1. We are actually on board with Adrian Rich as it stands at this moment in time. Now, this is interesting. We're in Q1. We've got 10 minutes remaining, and we're under wet conditions. The guys are on intermediates. Now, this is a little bit unexpected. Wet conditions here at Barcelona. Yeah,
it's nice. It's a challenge. I don't think a challenge you want, to be honest. It's fun, I'd say.
Yeah, it's definitely not the
Interesting
challenge.
To see what the rest of the session is going to be like.
Well, I agree. Let's have a quick look at the standings as they are. Ross Milburn, and I was referring to Ross, how a fantastic start he's had, obviously, to his season when he started in China. He's done a 131.6. Josh Diggles in the Haas, equally as good, 131.8, so only a couple of tenths off that. Then we've got Phil Harris, who's currently second in the Drivers' Championship, doing a really great championship at this moment in time for that Rocket Williams, 131.9. Gary McKenney in the McLaren, 132.2. Ryan Lear, our championship leader at the moment, 132.6. Adrian Rich comes over and takes P4, 132.064. Pushes McKenney to 5, Lear to 6. Jake Sorrell in the Ferrari, well, he is currently sitting in 7th place on a 133.46. That's actually cut to him. So that's Jake Sorrell there. And not too shabby, certainly from him. Then we got Tom Johnson. He's actually in the pits. He's done a 1:33.5. Tony Foster in the pits as well. He's done a 1:34.2. Sean Gregory out on track. He's done a 1:40.2. Cameron Widdowson still in the pits. We don't seem to have Danny Burt, Daniel Platt, Jamie Good, Tom Stevens, Sean Street and Jack Wilson. He's disqualified. I don't know if you can have a look, Nikki. Have those guys had problems connecting, or are they disconnected, or what's happened?
Well, it's mandatory rule that new drivers can't participate in first qualifying their first race.
Yeah.
So for Jack Wilson, Sean Street and Jamie Good, that's the case in this particular moment.
What about Tom Stevens, Dylan Platt and Danny Burt?
Well, Tom Stevens had a penalty due to Baku incident.
Ah, yes, indeed, yes.
And I can see Dylan Platt has terminal damage, so he's crashed out somewhere.
Okay, so Dylan's crashed out, and presume
I
Daniel
think
Burt the same.
Burt has got some issues with either Xbox connection or television. That's what I was looking at.
It's nice to know that we've all got our own little world of technical difficulties, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always like to say, whether it's real world or sim world, we all experience technical difficulties. So Ross Milburn got that lead with that 1:30. He's now taking the lead, sorry, with a 1:31.073. So great run from him. He's got his teammate in behind him at this moment in time. In front of him, who's Sean Gregory. He's actually out on a lap now. It looks like he's on a fast lap actually, so let's quickly cut to him, see what he can do. 1:18, 1:31 is what he's looking for. He's coming round 14 into 15 now. He's not going to make it, is he? No way, he's not even round the corner yet. That's 34, yeah, 34.2. 34.2 from Sean Gregory. These wet conditions not suited. And that's interesting, isn't it, how some drivers come alive in the wet, other drivers just fall by the wayside.
It's all about confidence. All about confidence in the car. And it's also about, is it going to be a full wet race? Because if it is, you obviously need a different setup to what you use in a dry race.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure. We can't see what the race conditions are going to be yet. It's going to be a surprise for us.
Yeah, I think it is. To be honest with you. Obviously, we are looking at the queue conditions. We don't know what the actual race conditions will be, and indeed, these conditions can alter as well between the queues. As it stands in the moment, we have 17 drivers that are participating in this Q1 session. Of those 17, we will be dropping the slowest two. Actually, that's going to be interesting, isn't it? How's that going to work out? Because obviously we've got some drivers that are new, and as Nikki explained a few minutes ago, with new drivers, if it's their first race in the league, irrespective, they don't qualify, they start at the back of the grid, only on their first race. As we experience has taught us that one, hasn't it, really, in F1 tonight. Now the thing here is obviously we've only got 17 drivers, so some of those guys are going to have to go through, and obviously their grid positions will be amended. Is it going to sit as it is at the moment on that grid? So Sean Street and Jack Wilson starting 16 and 17.
Yeah.
Okay.
It should. That's what we intended, anyway.
Okay. Okay, so they are the sort of the new guys.
I just got confirmation from Dylan. He actually got taken. Well, Daniel Bird had an issue with his screen, and Dylan got taken out by his retired car for some reason.
Oh, nice. Okay, so AI strikes again. Takes out one of our drivers. Well, it's just going to make it more interesting for Dylan, really, isn't it?
Yeah, he's going to start on the back.
Yeah.
He's not happy yet, I can tell you that.
I'm sure he's not happy, but tell him it'll be a measure of his driving skills. He's going to love that, isn't he? Especially when he hears it back over on the street.
Is he going to love it though?
Probably not, to be fair. Probably not. Okay, so we have got just under 3.5 minutes left of this session. Just trying to see the drivers out there. Tom Johnson, let's go with Tom Johnson. As he comes round turn 1 into 2. Very gingerly round 3 there. See Standing Water is going right over. Trying to maintain on that racing line there. Comes into 4. Now making his way down into 5, 6. Round 7 now as he comes uphill. Watch this corner here. This is what I'm talking about. You've got to watch it on the exit there. You don't lose it. Round 8 now. Into turn 9. Again, watch your exit on here. That's the DRS. Obviously no DRS under wet conditions. So the DRS does not work under wet conditions. Round 10 now. He's into the final sector. Watch that curve there. It really does make you jump. Round 11 into 12. Long. Round 12. Down into 13 now. Final chicane. Round the final corner.
Nearly losing it.
Yeah, he's definitely got issues there. I mean, it could be the drivers are driving with a setup that's obviously more suitable to dry conditions because they may be expecting dry conditions during the race. But I've got to say, Tom Johnson, respectable time there, 1:32.4 from Tom Johnson. Phil Harris, by the looks of it, has gone out on track, I think. So,
yeah, he retired in the pits.
Oh, he's retired in the pits.
He's satisfied enough with his time, with the time that he's got, so he just retired in the pits.
Ryan Lear coming round now. This is not looking too shabby at this moment in time. A 1:31.8. Nice run from Ryan Lear. Puts him up into P3 on this Q1 session. A good job from him. Jake Sorrell, the Ferrari, he's currently P5. Trying to see, he's looking pretty solid. Adrian Rich coming down now. Got just under a minute remaining, so a number of these drivers will be setting further laps. Sean Gregory just coming out to 6, down towards 7. 8 now. Sorry, what am I saying? He's round 12. Sean Gregory round 12, sorry, so he's just going to the end. See if he can improve on his time. He's got the Ferrari and Jake Sorrell ahead of him, so that's Jake. I think it's been invalidated. Yeah, it has been. Yeah, it's not faster anyway. Tom Johnson into the pits. Sean Gregory has a 1:34, not any faster than his previous time. I think Adrian Rich is still to come round and finish his lap. He's just come round at 9, down towards 10. And he spins it. Oh no, not what he wanted to do. Spins it round 10. So that's that lap scrub there for Adrian Rich.
Still got Sean Gregory on the fast lap.
Yeah, Sean Gregory is indeed on the fast lap. So let's sit with him, see if he can better that time. 1:33.6. Previous lap did a 1:34. So he's decided to stay out, see if he can do a better lap. Got Jake Sorrell ahead of him there on the track. Jake is probably going
faster as well.
Yeah.
He's going faster, half a second. Sean is 4.5 tenths up, so.
They're both doing pretty well. Jake Sorrell round 12 now, coming down towards turn 13. Let's see what he can do. 1:31.8 is the time he wants to be. He's certainly going to beat it. 1:31.4. Nice run from him. What about Sean Gregory? Let's have a look. He's coming round.
Did improve, but
yeah, did improve, but not enough. Not enough. Okay, so as I say, in the drop zone we have Sean Street in the Racing Point and Jack Wilson in the Rocket Williams. So they'll be starting row 8 P16. Sorry, row 8 P7, row 8 P16 and row 9 P17 for those two guys. We're going to go into the second qualification round now. So we'll take those 15 drivers. There you have confirmation of the drivers in their placings. Pretty close, I've got to say. Not looking too bad, certainly for 4 and 5. Ryan Lear, Josh Diggles and Phil Harris there. A little bit of a gap then, about 4/10 to Jake Sorrell and Gary McKenny, who missed that actually. Gary McKenny setting the fastest lap, 1:31.441. But Ross Milburn there, yeah, very good indeed. I mean, 4/10 faster than second fastest. That's quite something in those conditions.
it is. It really is. It's yeah, tricky in the rain conditions, especially those long sweeping corners. Easy to lose traction. Yeah.
So it does look
amazing
like
performance.
Great performance. It does look like we're not going to get those other guys in, though, I've noticed, because we've only got 12 drivers in this queue. That would suggest to me that they will be starting, obviously, as long as they can get in at filling up those back rows. So effectively row 7 up to 9. And we'll run through those when we come to the time, so you know who they are. But we know Danny Burt's going to be in there. Dylan Platt is in there as well. It's a current race champion as it stands on the championship at the moment in time. So it's going to be interesting, because there's going to be a few guys quite out of place there. Tom Stevens is, yeah, because I can't see Tom Stevens. He's got to be in there as well. And
Tom Stevens is starting at the back.
Yeah, because he's obviously got that penalty. And Callum White, though, his teammate as well.
I don't see Callum White at all, to be honest. Do I?
Is Callum not racing at all? Oh, okay.
Apparently he isn't.
Oh, okay. I thought it was only. I thought it was only going to be Thomas Cook, but still.
Thomas Cook and who was it? I did get notification of it.
Let's see who's in the lead here. Looks like it's Josh Diggles. He's actually first man out on the outlap there. Everybody
Jordan
again
Marshall
on the intermediates.
Not racing either.
Jordan Marshall. Okay, so that's for Renault.
Oh, let's see. Still on the intermediate tyres.
Yeah, they are. This is going to be interesting. So we've got Josh Diggles, Jake Sorrell, and I think then Ryan Lear behind him. So those are our front three on these outlaps. I do like that camera shot just over the right shoulder of the driver there as they're coming around 12. So Josh Diggles now coming into the final chicane, getting ready to start his fast lap. Onto that straight. There he goes. Phil Harris.
Sorrell behind him.
Harris as well. I don't know if Phil Harris is actually ahead of him, is he?
He is.
Yeah, Phil Harris is ahead.
Fast lap as well, and Ryan Lee as well.
Yeah, so Phil Harris is just coming down round 6.
I think Phil's going to be the first one to cross the line.
Yeah, I think he will. That's why I thought I'd better go with him. Coming up now towards turn 9. Gently taking it in there. It's all about really, in wet conditions, it's all about really managing that that gas pedal, isn't it? You don't want to be laying down too much power. It's got to be really smooth on the power, isn't it?
Yeah, it's moving the power in. You have to find a sweet spot on the braking point, because you can't brake on a normal braking point that you use in a dry session. So
yeah,
it's really finding out where the grip is, how much grip you've got, and work with that, and then keep pushing it further and
looking
further.
a good time. I think we're going to see a 131.4. So good run there from Phil Harris. Let's go to Jake Sorrell. But he's got
Josh Diggles first.
Josh Diggles, isn't it? That's it, yeah. So, Josh losing it a bit round, coming into 16. A good time as well. Look at that. This is a good time. 131.1. Very nice. Jake Sorrell comes over. He does P3 132.0. Then we have Ryan Lears jumped into that third place. 131.7. Oh, dearie me. I think that was Danny Burt actually trying to move out the way. Or was it Josh Diggles? Maybe Josh Diggles actually went into the side barriers there.
So I was going to say,
Tom Johnson.
Wing somewhere. Yeah, or bits of it anyway.
132. I think it was the barrier. He went into the barrier just to avoid the car coming down. So Tom Johnson, provisional 5th, 132.2. Tony Foster, good run from him, 133.7. Adrian Rich, Russ Milburn on their outlaps again. Cameron Widdowson coming round now. What can the Renault driver do?
32.0.
Yeah, hasn't set a time.
Is he? That's P4.
That's Gary McKenny, and Gary McKenny really come alive. Set the second fastest time in Q1.
John Gregory just.
Gary McKenny, I think, suiting these wet conditions. Sean Gregory, yeah, in that provisional P3 131.6. So it's looking pretty good. I mean, the guys are getting the measure.
Adrian going very wide.
Yeah, Adrian losing it out of 3 there, it looks like, yeah. So Adrian Rich in the Red Bull loses out 3. Fortunately, got a good solid run off there. So no major problems. But yeah, it is quite tricky, and he's just trying to get aside there, let the faster car through. I think that's what he's trying to do. Is he just trying to get grip? I'm not too sure what he's doing actually. Maybe his tyres are overheating. Although
I don't think they're overheating. I can't see any damage as well. So he might have just got some scrub on his tyres.
Has he got a flat spot on there? No, it's all right. It's gone. I think he might have just had dirt on those tyres from when he went off.
What I'm thinking as well. Ross Milburn starts his fast lap now.
So Ross Milburn, the man, I think, who's going to, as this moves on, so from what we've seen him, is going to provide quite a challenge, I think, for Dylan Platt. Especially here, as obviously Dylan unfortunately got caught up in that incident with the car. One of the Hasters, I think it was Danny Burt, so it's very unfortunate for him. He's going to be starting at the back of the grid. Well, I think Ross Milburn's going to be giving a run for his money on this championship as well.
Cameron Widdowson losing it in turn 2. He's going to come back on the track as well. Oh, that was close.
Sorry, I didn't cut to that one because I was there at the moment with Ross Milburn at the moment. He's just coming round 9. These conditions, not the worst. Obviously, you could have heavy rain. The guys are on the intermediate, so it's not all bad. Going quite wide, round 12 there, off the racing line. Down into 13 now. Still to set a time, Ross Milburn. Now in this second qualification, the drivers that will go through will be the top 10. The last 2 again will go out. Ross Milburn, oh, look at that! Look at that! 130.869, absolutely blinding lap there from Ross Milburn. Fantastic run.
Yeah, 0.3 faster than Josh Diggles.
That is absolutely amazing.
He really got some pace in that car.
Definitely. So Ross Milburn for the Toro Rosso sets a great pace. I mean, yeah, 3/10 faster than Josh Diggles in that second place. So very impressive indeed. Josh Diggles is in second. Oh, sorry, Sean Gregory has just taken that first. So Sean Gregory in the sister Toro Rosso to Ross Milburn takes that fastest lap here in this Q2 from his teammate, setting a 1:30.758. 1.5, well, 1.1 tenths off his teammate.
Yeah, I think they've done some teamwork on the test sessions. They must have done.
Could well have done. Could well have done. So Toro Rosso topping the Q2 session so far. We've got just under 6 minutes remaining. What do you think, Nikki? I mean, obviously under these intermediate conditions, it's always difficult. With slicks, you'd expect the track to progress, I guess, and you know, you've got rubber down, gives you fast speeds. In these wet conditions, that isn't going to apply, is it?
Well, it is and it is. I mean, it's the more cars that are on the track, they're really going to create a drier line on the race line. So as long as you stay on the race line itself and find the limits within that race line, you're fine, to be honest. Water will disintegrate somewhere, and then we'll get more grip eventually.
So we could see this track mature a bit more and maybe deliver some faster times then.
We could, yeah. I don't see people using soft tyres in Q3. I don't think, especially if I look at these conditions now. Yeah. Well, I think in Q3 we'll see some faster times than this 30.7.
So you think we're going to see sub 130? Are we going to see 129s, do you think, even in these wet conditions?
I think a low 130s is possible. I think 29 is pushing it, but I think low 130s is possible.
Jake Sorrell looks as if he's a man on the mission at the moment. Coming round T12. Down towards 13 now. He's on his final run. It's not looking too shabby at this moment in time, although I don't think he's that's it. He's lost it out of 15 there. So, but saying that, he's still going for it. 131.6, yeah, P5. I think he could have got into that front row there, but didn't quite manage it. Ryan Lear is on his out lap now. Sorry, just finishing his out lap on his fast lap. I think he's the man that could possibly put in a better time than that 131.7. Gary McKenny, 7 on 132.0. His teammate Tom Johnson on 32.2. Only a couple of tenths separating the two McLarens. Adrian Rich down in 9. 10, Tony Foster. In the drop zone at the moment is Cameron Widdowson. He's on an out lap. Daniel Burt has crashed out, so he will be starting in row 6, P12. So it's only Cameron Widdowson now, and Cameron really needs to improve at that time. 1:39.7, 7 seconds off T10. It's going to be a tough ask for him, I think. Let's actually have a look, see how he's doing.
I did think he had his rear was overtaking his front tyres at his fast lap, so he's definitely going to improve, because I think in Q1 he done a 133 low, so he definitely was able to improve on that.
He's just winding down round 5 into 6. Let's see what the Renault driver can bring to the party. He needs to get himself out of that drop zone. He needs to better 132.9.
Talking about 130 lows.
130.169. Yeah, amazing, fantastic run there from Ross Milburn. Clearly not phased at all by these damp conditions. I've got to say, Cameron Widdowson, is looking pretty good at this moment in time. Into the final set of corners round Q3. Bit of a power slide round 13. Good control through the chicane there. I think he's going to be around about a 133. Could be a 132. He needs to hit that 132. No. It's a 133.8. So he does not beat that time set by Tony Foster. So Cameron Widdowson will be starting in row 6, P11, alongside Daniel Burt. Well, I'm miscounting him because he's already got a lap left, but I mean, there's 1 minute 10 remaining. He could still do it. I'm discounting him, but he could still do it, I guess.
Just looking at the sector time, he might still be on a fast lap.
He is on a fast lap. He's gone for it again. Yeah, definitely.
He did outbrake himself now. Ross Milburn going out of the way there.
He's got plenty of VRS left, that's for sure. He wants to lay down that
still
power.
in mode 1. I mean, we'll put it in like mode 3 at least. I not tend to use 4 or 5 in rainy conditions. Maybe on straight, but definitely not through corners. No,
definitely not. Coming round 12 now. Drivers moving aside there. The opportunity to try and improve on that time. He needs to take. Oh no! And he lost. He did it earlier on that lap. He did a power slide out of 13, and he's done one a little bit further down. That's it. I think that is game over for Cameron Widdowson.
Yeah, I do think so. Yeah, looking at the time, he might improve on his time now. He just misses about a tenth.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
So, as I said, he will be starting in that row 6, P11. Alongside Daniel
behind
Burt
him, guaranteed.
In the Haas. Yeah. Ross Milburn, though, he's out on track still, but no great shakes. He's not set anything at the moment, but he set the fastest time, 130.169. His teammate Sean Gregory, second fastest, 130.758. So Toro Rosso looking strong at this moment in time, aren't they, Nicky?
They've got Jake Sorrell on a fast lap.
Is he still out there, is he?
Oh, Adrian Rich was 4 tenths faster, but he nearly lost it into...
Yeah, he lost it out of 7 into 8, by the looks of it. Go to Jake Sorrell now. In sector 2. Coming round 9, coming down towards sector 3 now, turn 10.
Jake is 10th faster on his own fastest lap, so that will put him into P4 then.
Yeah,
he's able to continue. Power sliding.
Power sliding round 12, yeah, definitely. See him down into 13. No, that looks good.
Yeah, but I think that power slider cost him too much time, to be honest.
Wow. Definite slide there.
Yeah.
Right on the pit lane entrance. And just straight into the pits, I think, Jake. Yeah, I think that's it. That was a push too far there from Jake Sorrell.
It's the one as well.
Yeah. Take it easy there. So that is indeed all the drivers done. Cameron Widdowson in the Renault dropped then now from Q2 going into Q3. Danny Burt as well. They'll be starting row 6, Ps 11 and 12 respectively. And I guess I think we can pretty much count that this is going to be wet conditions in Q3 as well.
Yeah, looking at the conditions that we're finishing on now, it's definitely going to be wet for Q3.
Yeah, I suspect that is going to be indeed the case.
Or there might be a Spanish sun, which burns like 40 degrees, then it could
burns
happen,
it off.
I don't see it happening.
I've got to say though, Nicky, just because we're looking at wet conditions for obviously the qualifying doesn't mean we're going to have wet conditions for the race. And there's every likelihood we could have dry conditions for the race, and that would really mix it up then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that really mix it up, yeah, definitely. But that also does explain for some drivers to not be in the places that they normally should be if they use their dry weather setup. So it's going to be interesting anyways, especially with Tom Stevens starting way back, Daniel Burt starting out of the top 10.
Yeah.
Or Daniel Bird as well, and obviously Dylan Platt. So
Dylan Platt, yeah.
It's going to be a very interesting race.
I think it will be. The other thing, obviously, is normally in Q2, when the guys set their fastest lap, those top 10 runners, they have to start the race on the selected tyre, on the tyre that they actually set that with. Obviously, that doesn't apply should we have dry conditions for the start of the race. They'll be able to choose, everyone will be able to choose whatever tyre they want, basically, won't they?
Yeah. If qualifying is wet, if any session during the how do you say that? During the
qualification
race, qualification or race sessions. If it's wet, the mandatory tyre rule is gone.
Right, so it doesn't apply then.
No, at all.
Okay. Got one of the cars going out. Just want to see who that is. I think, yeah, it is indeed Josh Diggles. I just wanted to get out early, I've noticed, Josh. So Josh Diggles, first man out on track.
Behind it, Phil Harris.
Yeah, Phil Harris again, close in behind him. So we'll stay on board with Josh Diggles at this moment in time. First man out. Nikki, who do you think is going to take this pole, mate?
Going to be who's going to take it? I'd like to go for Phil Harris, to be honest, because I mean, if you look at his qualifying sessions, he's only done like a single lap, just like a benchmark, a banker lap, like we used to call it as well.
Indeed.
I think he's got something up his sleeve.
So
I think I'm going to go with Phil Harris.
You're going to go with Phil Harris. I am going to go with Jake Sorrell, actually.
Interesting.
Don't know why. I mean, the obvious choice is Ross Milburn, I've got to say, but I don't want to be obvious.
Looking at the previous sessions, yes.
Yeah, you've got to say. Ross Milburn is certainly looking the favourite at this moment in time. He's coming round now to start his fast lap. Let's see what Josh Diggles can do. Ash driver. Doing pretty well in the championship so far. With his teammate in the top 10.
Yeah, consistent. That's the key, in all fairness, being consistent.
I've got to say, yeah, it is consistency. And we see that in, say, Netherlands League. With someone like Peter Phillips, always there, always scoring points and always sitting around about the middle of the table. I mean, when his time comes and he's going to start getting on those podiums, it's going to be very interesting indeed. But consistency definitely counts. It helps you a great deal through the season and the championships. Let's see if Josh Diggles can deliver something special today. Benchmark, obviously, we're looking 131. 130. I'm not too sure if Josh has quite got the pace to get into those 130s. I think we're probably going to see a 131, low 131 from him.
He done a 30.9 previous session.
Yeah.
30.9 he done. So if he's got something extra, it might be a 30.4.
Yeah.
Josh.
Round now. $131.7. So he does better that
his strain on his ERS was depleted in the end of the lap, so he didn't get that extra 160 horsepower, fortunately.
Josh Diggles setting a very respectable lap there at 131.7. Phil Harris crosses the line on a 132.0. Ryan Lear coming round now into turn 16. Jake Sorrell sets a 133.0. Ryan Lear sets a 132.2. Sean Gregory 132.9. Gary McKenny gets up into provisional P3, a 132.1 from Gary McKenny. Man out on the track at the moment, still does Tony Foster. He's just coming into 14, 15 now. I think he's going to improve on his best so far. 1:33.8. So I think he has. Yeah, I think he has actually on the previous queue. Adrian Rich in the pits. Ross Milburn out in sector 1 now, coming round for his fast lap. And I suspect that Ross is likely to take this pole, but I'm still going to stick with Jake Sorrell. I think he's got something more to deliver there. We are on board with Ross Milburn in the Toro Rosso for this final Q3 session. 6.5 minutes remaining to decide the grid for the top 10 here. Ross Milburn certainly shooting for that first row. At the moment, he needs to push Josh Diggles or Phil Harris out of there because they are occupying that P1, P2 position for this current Q3. Is he going to be able to do it? He's looking strong. So, well, actually, don't know. I don't think he is looking that strong, actually.
Well, dirty this lap. He's not looking. No, he's not on the fast lap anymore.
He's definitely not on a fast lap. So I think Ross Milburn's going to be coming round for another go there. Tom Johnson, Gary McKenny's teammate in the McLaren there, just coming round.
He still is.
Into 9. He's definitely going for it. So Gary McKenny in the McLaren. I think this is going to be a good time actually for McKenny, got to say. He's looking, I think he's definitely looking good for a 131, high 131, 132. No, actually 131 I think. Oh no, it is 133. Oh, nearly 34. Well, I must have majorly misjudged that, or he lost a lot around those final set of corners. But Tom Johnson, P9, 133.9. So he's currently in that row 5 position. All the guys, majority of guys certainly in the pits at this moment in time. A few still out on track. Tony Foster, Tom Johnson, but I think they're just on their wind down laps. Jake Sorrell, now he's on his out lap. Sean Gregory is behind him. So let's go with these guys. They should be the next to set their laps. And it's so hard though. I mean, you know, Catalonia's a tough track at the best of times in the dry conditions. I've got to say, I haven't driven it in wet conditions, but yeah, it just sort of adds to the complexity really, doesn't it?
It does, and very interestingly, 3 guys that have selected full wet tyres to go on.
Oh, I didn't actually check that out because I thought they'd all be on the intermediates, but Jake Sorrell is certainly on the intermediates.
It's Gary McKenny's on full wets, Sean Gregory's on full wets, and Adrian Rich is on full wets.
Sorry, Jake Sorrell loses it going into 12, so that's his time over.
If I look at the lap times are slowing down, so the rain is intensifying.
Yeah, but those guys in the wets maybe have made the right move there. Gary McKenny just coming into 6 now.
Ryan Lee has selected wet tyres as well now.
Yeah, he's coming onto the wets. Sean Gregory's on his coming to the end of his out lap. He's on the wets.
Well, if that's the case, I don't think you'll be able to go faster on a wet tyre than you do on an intermediate tyre. So it's going to be interesting. This might be first pole position for Josh Diggles. Well,
it's certainly looking that way at this moment in time. Maybe he made the right call coming out early on that queue, setting a benchmark time, and now the other guys are obviously struggling because the conditions have got wetter. And as you rightly say, Nikki, I mean, you shouldn't be able to set a faster lap on a set of wets.
No, I don't, yeah. I mean, we've seen a 30.1 in Q2. Now we see it the fastest. Well, Ross Milburn done 30.1. The fastest he can do on inters is 32. But I don't think he's going to be able to do. Well, he might be able to do it with 33 or 34, but I don't think it's going to be 32s on the full wet tyres.
Well, time will tell. We'll have to see how that actually pans out, how it actually works. But I'm inclined to agree with you on that one. Adrian Rich is on a fast lap now. But as you rightly say, a number of the guys have gone on to those wet tyres. You can see there, Phil Harris, Gary McKenny, Ryan Lear and Adrian Rich. I think Adrian will be the first man across the line on those full wets, although Gary McKenny might be ahead of him. Let's have a quick look. No, he's not. So Adrian Rich will be the first man. Let's see what he can do. Should give us a good measure.
Phil Harris starting his fastest lap now. On the wet tyres.
Now coming round to the final set of corners.
Well,
and it's not looking too bad. No, it's not actually. Looking at it, it's not looking too bad. So maybe, I don't know. Let's see. I mean, 132.1.
It's 30 already. No, it's never going to be able to.
Be faster, but 135.0, 35.0 there from Adrian Rich. Gary McKenny.
Phil Harris actually.
Oh no, definitely not fast. Definitely not fast. Gary McKenny coming into the pits there. Ryan Lear.
Went for Inters still.
Ryan Lear's.
Ross Milburn just started his fast lap.
He has.
So
he's still on the Inters.
Josh Diggles.
And they are still on those Inters, aren't they? Yeah.
Josh is done. He had a power slide coming up too. Oh, Ross is faster in the first sector.
No, those wets are definitely not working at this moment in time.
No.
Let's cut to...
Not well enough.
Phil Harris losing it. It isn't. Ross Milburn just coming out of 5-6 now. Around 7-8 up towards that turn 9. Looking pretty good so far, respectable. He's a little bit off his previous pace. He's down. No, he's down. He's a 10.5 up, yeah. So he is a 10.5 up at this moment in time. That would put him in the 131s. And certainly challenging Josh Diggle's time of that 131.779. Nice and smooth through the chicane there. Good exit out of 14 into 15 now. Sorry, 16.
Is he going to do it? No, he's...
131.9. Oh.
Does improve his time, but...
Does improve, but not quite. 2/10 still off Josh Diggles.
They've got Sean Gregory.
Josh Diggles sets a 131.780 was his best time. He sets, doesn't make it any better, so still on that 131.779. So he's still in that P1 position. Josh Diggles, well for... at the moment, and it doesn't look like it's going to be challenged.
Sean Gregory got P3 on Inters.
Yeah. Jake Sorrell is coming round now.
30. Oh, he improved his time, but not his place.
Not his place, yeah. That is it indeed. What a fantastic result there. That is amazing. Great job there, Josh Diggles in the Haas. First time on that pole. I'm sure he's going to make the most of it. This is going to pay. I knew it was going to be an interesting race, but this is going to make it doubly so, isn't it?
Just going to have to excuse myself for a few minutes. Eddie?
Sorry, Nikki, I didn't catch that. What was that?
Just going to have to excuse myself for 2 minutes.
Yep, no worries, mate. Well, sound off, so don't worry. You can chat away if you're necessary. So, drivers now getting ready for the start of this race. We'll run through the drivers in their processional lap. Now, the question is it going to be dry or is it going to be wet for the start of this race? This is F1 Tonight UK, Season 1, and we are here at the Circuit de Catalunya. And, oh my goodness me. Well, if you were asking what's going to happen, is it going to be dry or not, I think we can quite safely see that it is indeed dry conditions. So this is really going to mix up the start of this race in a very, very dramatic way. We've got Josh Diggles in the Haas, remember, on that front row. As I said, we'll run through the drivers once they get readied up. So this phase of the game, they're just double checking their settings, looking at their strategies, how they're actually going to apply. And remember, we're going to have a number of the guys coming from the back of the field as well that are out of place. Tom Stevens, obviously, under that penalty. We've also got the new drivers, Sean Street and Jack Wilson in the Rocket Williams, Sean Street in the Racing Point. They'll be starting at the back as well. So, yeah. A lot of people out of place as to where one would necessarily expect them on the grid. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this pans out. Drivers, we're still waiting. I don't know if they've got any connection issues there. Hopefully not. Okay, so the drivers have actually been asked not to ready up at the end of Q3. I think they're just getting some processes in place, aren't they? Okay, yeah, so basically, just so our viewers are aware, the delay here is that we've got the two new drivers and we're having to run through the start process. And under F1 Tonight rules, all drivers are required to record the first 10 minutes of their race. So they're just being given instruction, tuition effectively as to how to actually do that. Race will be starting at 20:30. So we should be underway very shortly indeed. About another minute remaining. Nikki, I was just saying, obviously to our viewers there, we've got dry conditions. That's the first thing to say, obviously. Second thing, we've got a lot of drivers out of place, you know, not where you would normally expect them to be.
Not at all. Even the new drivers, some of them are blindingly fast, shown from what they've shown to us on Sunday on the driver test. So it is going to be very interesting to see what they can do from the back of the grid. Yeah. All I can say is keep your nose clean and, yeah.
Go for it.
Let the laps count down.
Well, we've got
66 of them. Yeah,
Tom Stevens at the back as well. Dylan Platt, our current championship leader, he's starting at the back or towards the back of the grid as well. So there are a lot of guys there, very, very much out of place. It's going to be, it's going to be quite a dramatic race, and strategy is going to be very important. He's here in Catalonia anyway. I'll say not as much as some tracks, but I mean it's certainly going to play today, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is going to play. This, like I said before, this is the first proper racetrack, in my opinion, and I do think other people say that as well.
Nikki, what is it about Catalonia that makes you say that?
History. It's like a purpose-built test track, so it's got everything. I mean, if you look at Australia, it's a street circuit. Through a park. If you look at China, it's a made circuit, recently made circuit. Same as Bahrain, it's a recent circuit as well, and then Baku is obviously a street circuit. So yeah, round 5 is really where where you can see the people that really know the tracks and know the history of the Formula One as well.
And obviously the first European track of the season as well.
That as well, yeah. And even if you watch real world Formula One, you can see as well that teams say after the first 4 races, you can really see who's done their homework in the winter. So yeah, this is really going to be an interesting race.
As Nikki points out, obviously a track with a lot of history, European track as well. Drivers now getting ready, underway. So Josh Diggles will lead in that P1 position. Alongside him is Ross Milburn in the Toro Rosso. Row 2, P3 is going to be Sean Gregory in the sister Toro Rosso there. Then alongside him is going to be Phil Harris. Phil Harris in the Rocket Williams. Row 3, P5, we have Gary McKenny in the McLaren. Alongside him is going to be Ryan Leah in the Alfa Romeo. Row 4, P7, Jake Sorrell in the Ferrari. Alongside him is going to be the McLaren of Tom Johnson. Then we have Tony Foster in the Ferrari. That's row 5, P9, Tony Foster. Then alongside him we've got Adrian Rich in P10 in the Red Bull. Row 6, P11, we have Cameron Widdowson in the Renault. Alongside him is Danny Burt there in the Haas, Josh Diggles' teammate. Then row 7, P13, Dylan Platt, who's very much out of place there. Alongside him we've got Jamie Good in the Racing Point. Then we have Tom Stevens in the Mercedes, very much out of place in 15. Sean Street in the Racing Point, new driver. Jack Wilson in the Rocket Williams, new driver. So we're getting ready for the start of this race. Drivers lining up now. Getting ready for the lights. This is F1 Tonight, UK Season 1 Spanish Grand Prix, and we are off for the start of the race. And you can see the drivers charging through there. Josh Diggles maintaining his lead. Gary McKenny trying to get a little look through around Sean Gregory. You can also see Jake Sorrell coming up and Peter Phillips in the background as well. Sorry, not Peter Phillips, Phil Harris, what am I saying? Yes, and Josh gets cleanly away. Ross Milburn second, Sean Gregory third. Gary McKenny being challenged at the moment by Jake Sorrell. Jake Sorrell right alongside him as they're coming down towards turn 4. And you can see Phil Harris just in the background there, keeping a look on things, taking the inside line round turn 4. Jake Sorrell gets ahead of Gary McKenny, now up behind Sean Gregory. Dylan Platt. Dylan Platt and Tanny Burt of DNF, don't know what happened there. It must have been around turn 2, somewhere like that. Sean Street is in 14, Cameron Widdowson 13, Tom Johnson 12. Jack Wilson's moved up to 11, good start from him. Jamie Good 10, Tony Foster 9, Tom Stevens already up to P8, fantastic. Ryan Lear 7, Phil Harris is in that 6 and he's challenging now Jake Sorrell as they come out of 10 in towards 11. Really laying the pressure down. Jake Sorrell equally has now dropped back behind Gary McKenny, so lost that place back to Gary McKenny and McLaren. Sean Gregory still running in P3. Ross Milburn is
Gary
in
McKenny
2.
Going white. Jack Sorrell is taken.
Jack Sorrell has taken Gary McKenny indeed. Phil Harris though is challenging. Look at this, he's right up close behind that Ferrari, but he can't get past him. He's now alongside him as they're coming down towards turn 1. Side by side. Oh, look at this. Gary McKenny dropped back there. Phil's going to have to go deep round into turn 2. Stays on track though. And you can see, look at that, Ryan Lear in that Alfa Romeo goes very wide, round 3. But he's sneaking up on those guys as well at this moment in time. Josh Diggles has dropped down. Josh Diggles has gone out. Josh Diggles has gone out. He's dropped down. He lost it. Lost it out of, looks like it's into turn 4, out on the exit of turn 4, coming down towards 5. He's dropped down to P9. Oh, what a shame there for Josh Diggles. And he's losing that place now, looks like, to Jamie Good. He's challenging. He's lost his front nose. That's what's happened there. He's got no front nose on that Haas. He went to the barrier, wiped out his front nose. And Josh Diggles is going to have to come into the pits now.
Yeah, happy for him to still be alive.
Yeah, at least he's still in the running.
Really made a blinding start. He gained 9 places already.
Yeah, I mean, it is, well, yeah, 9 places, Tom Stevens. Just as first lap is coming, second lap's coming to an end there. That is fantastic run. Equally, Jake Sorrell, though, he's moved from 7 to 3. Sean Gregory and Ross Milburn both up 1 each, taking 1 and 2 respectively. But as you rightly say, Tom Stevens there, fantastic run from him. But Gary McKenny and Phil Harris maintaining their places. Down 1, Ryan Lear, up 1, Tony Foster, up 5, Jamie Good as well. Josh Diggles obviously down 9, he's in the pits. Jack Wilson, the new driver, he's up 7 into the pits as well, down 10. Yeah. Josh is having a lot of work done on his car there by the looks of it.
Yeah, he really lost a lot of time there. Comes out in P10, well, nearly 30 seconds behind the leader now.
Okay, so let's have a look at these tyre selections. Things are settling a little bit, although I was saying that Jake Sorrell is certainly looking to apply pressure to Sean Gregory. Okay, so Ross Milburn, Jack Sorrell, Gary McKenny and Tony Foster all on the soft red wall tyre. Then we've got Sean Gregory, Phil Harris, Ryan Lear, Jamie Good, Josh Diggles, Jack Wills, Cameron Widdowson, Adrian Rich on the medium, 2 drivers on the hard. This is what gets me. Nikki, Tom Stevens, he's on a hard set of tyres, and yet he moves up 9 places in 2 laps. That is phenomenal.
Astronomical.
Absolutely phenomenal.
He's going to overtake Gary McKenny now. That's right. Just got so much extra speed coming out of the corners. It's I want to know what he does with cars.
I think he surreptitiously fits some nitrous.
Yeah, must be.
That is absolutely phenomenal. I've got to say, I'm a bit annoyed with this camera angle actually coming down towards turn 1, because it gives me the back end of the cars rather than the front end. So I'll probably go.
If you go on board with him, everything looks so smooth.
Yeah. Is that Tom Stevens? Yeah, let's actually let's do that. Let's get an idea for that.
It's interesting to see what Josh can do. The leader, 39.6 seconds behind the leader now. Keep an eye on that time.
Yeah. Tom Stevens is definitely quite smooth on there. You're right, Jake Sorrell, he's got past Sean Gregory, but not necessarily a surprise. He is on the soft set of tyres, so he's got that advantage effectively. Sean Gregory obviously going for the long game. You could argue the point that Sean Gregory was basically sort of holding Jake Sorrell back, because Jake was 3.5 seconds off. He is closing down to Ross Milburn, but that's quite important for the Toro Rosso guys, isn't it?
Sean as well.
Yeah, Phil Harris has now got past him as well. But that's quite important for Ross Milburn, isn't it? I mean, he needed to get that gap built up in those first few laps so that he didn't come under major challenge from those guys on the softer tyres and behind him as well. So do you think a bit of team cooperation going on there?
Oh, Sean Street DNF.
Oh, Sean Street has DNF. That's a new driver for Racing Point. Not, it happens. We're not going to be surprised by that.
Aidan nearly running into the back of Cameron Widdowson there. That was really close. Not sure Cameron's doing, to be honest.
Well,
it's virtual safety car.
BSC is out. And that must be for
Short Street.
Short Street, yeah. So VSC is out. Okay, this is interesting. So, Nikki, under VSC, that's the virtual safety car. So no safety car actually comes out on track. It is a virtual safety car. How does it work? The guys have to maintain some sort of gap to each other, don't they?
It's a certain delta. Basically, the game decides what lap time you have to drive. Well, you can't drive any faster than a certain lap time. It's really up to the driver to see where he lets the gap, where he slows down enough to keep a positive delta. Because if he got a negative delta for more than a few seconds, you do get a penalty.
So basically, racing, the guys have got to drive within a certain. You're still racing, but you've got to drive within a certain range. You can't go less than that, or you get a penalty, and you can't go more than that, or you get a penalty.
Well, less is no issue. It's just you can't go faster than that delta time.
So you can go slower than it then?
Yeah, but if you go too slow, obviously, because it's not a full safety car, you do lose time. So it's really the trick of maintaining that delta, be precisely on it, to not lose too much time.
Right, I'm with you. So it's quite tricky, basically.
It is.
You've got not only got to be aware of what you're doing on the track, you've also got to be aware of keeping it within a certain range as well. Well, VSC has gone off. We are now on lap 6. DRS is activated, and that's the system that opens up a flap on the back wing. So any driver that's within a second or less of the car ahead of him will have that DRS within those DRS zones. Ross Milburn is now leading, obviously, well, not now, he has been leading this race. Jake Sorrell, 3.36 off the back of him. Jake really needs to close that gap down to try and get as much advantage as he can. Phil Harris, though, is currently in P3. Now, he's on the medium set of tyres. We would or should certainly see Phil Harris assuming the first place in this race when Ross Milburn and Jake Sorrell come into pit. But equally, Sean Gregory's got him covered as well for Toro Rosso, because he's only 1.1 seconds off the back of him, and he's on a set of mediums as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. It's really interesting to see what tyre strategy the guys use. I mean, I used the two-stop strategy. That it worked out for me, but then again, some other drivers on Thursday used the one-stop strategy. So it really depends on how comfortable you are on the hard tyre. I'm never comfortable on those tyres, to be honest. So it's really going to see what stop strategy they're going to have. I do expect Ross to go on a hard tyre after his pit stop. But then Jake Sorrell might use 2 times mediums after that.
Yeah, there's every possibility of that. I'm actually with Tom Stevens at the moment. Phenomenal start from him. He's up into P5. He's only 5/10 off the back of Sean Gregory now as they come into that start-finish straight. He will have DRS. Phil Harris setting the fastest time, 1:23.1. Surely Tom's going to make the move now on Sean Gregory. And Sean going defensive. Good, strong move there. Only one move from Sean Gregory. Knows his stuff. Blocked that the Mercedes there of Tom Stevens. Hard, but fair racing.
Yeah, you can move once.
Exactly, it was
you
only
can't
the once.
move under braking, so it was a move on the line. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it was on the verge, but certainly perfectly within the regulations, and it did the job basically, which was holding Tom Stevens off. I don't know for how long, to be perfectly honest with you, because Sean Gregory does not want Tom Stevens to get ahead of him, especially as he's on that hard compound tyre.
Yeah, if he goes ahead, then it's on business.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gone.
Now, the other thing to say is obviously Tom Stevens on this hard compound tyre. We were talking obviously that Phil Harris, Sean Gregory, they will move up into P1 and P2 respectively once Ross Milburn and Jake Sorrell come in. But Tom Stevens will also, looking at it on face value, he will be taking that P1 position probably round about sort of the high 20s, mid to high 20s, I suspect.
I think more high 20s, I think high 20s is possible on the medium tyres. Soft, you really burn your rear tyres here.
Yeah, so I would suspect they're going to be coming in probably within the next sort of 3 to 4 laps, those guys on the softs.
I'd say lap 13, 14. These are fresh tyres.
Yeah, they're fresh tyres. That's true. Yeah. So they've probably got about another 5 or 6 laps left in them. The mediums, one would suspect, and again, because obviously everyone is on fresh tyres, I'd suspect, as you rightly say, they'd probably go around about mid, sort of 25 to sort of 29 laps, somewhere between there. And then the hard tyre can certainly go into the mid-30s and go into the 40. Yeah, 40 plus, can't it?
Yeah.
So I think Tom Stevens is probably looking at a hard to medium, although, you know,
if
he could potentially push it to...
He goes hard soft, but if he's going to go sensible... Oh, we lost Jack Wilson, actually.
Yeah.
If he's going to go sensible, he's going to do hard medium.
I would suspect that. I mean, that's certainly what I would think he'd be aiming for. But if he manages those tyres, he could go hard soft, couldn't he? Oh, look, trying to make the move again. Gets alongside, side by side as they come down to turn 1 there. And really hard defending there from Sean Gregory, but fair. Tom Stevens does get ahead of him as they come out of 2, round 3 now. So Tom Stevens moves up into that P4 position. Fantastic race from him, but look at this, Sean Gregory trying to come back in on the inside of turn 4. Doesn't quite manage it, slots in now behind Tom Stevens, so they come down round 5. Sean
Stevens
Gregory not giving up easily, is he?
Really great battle. If you look in lap times as well, I mean, Tom Stevens was behind him and 6 tenths lap faster, so it'll be interesting to see how fast he can pull away now.
Well, Tom Stevens has shown some great starts in the past 2 races, but unfortunately not got to the end of them. He has DNF'd. I mean, has he just been pushing too hard, Nicky? Or, as you said, has he just been on, you know, that unlucky side?
Well, unlucky, and as well, he did underestimate, I think it was Tony Foster he collided with back him. He did underestimate where he was going to break, so yeah, it might be, sure. Surprised about the pace difference.
Yeah, you can see though Toro Rosso there on the DRS closing down, but not anywhere near enough to try and get past Tom Stevens. In the meantime, though, Jake Sorrell is right on the gearbox of Phil Harris here, 2.5 tenths off the back of him. He needs to maintain this. If he maintains this on the exit of 9, he should be able to make the move and him down into 10.
One would expect, yeah, definitely.
I mean, Jake Sorrell at the moment, he's now 6 tenths off, so that's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. 6 tenths, yeah, as they come out, he's not going to be able to close down. A little bit, I'd say, you know, if you're 3 tenths or less, it's a done deal, but not at this moment in time. He will have the opportunity, obviously, on that start-finish straight, but again, I think he's going to want to be certainly within 4 tenths to make it an easy move. 5 tenths can be done, a little bit more difficult, but Phil Harris, a very competent driver. 3 tenths off, this should be a straightforward move before they get down to turn 1. Phil Harris, yeah, simply moving aside there. Getting into, oh no, it's not. He's trying to get into there, yeah. I thought Phil Harris was being generous, but he wasn't. He was just taking that right-hand side to get the advantage into turn 1. It is disadvantage, obviously, into 2, though. But
Jake going a bit wide in turn 3.
He did go wide round 3, Jake. But Phil Harris isn't going to let this go easily. He's going to keep the pressure on, isn't he, Nicky?
Yeah, he is. He knows he's on the harder tyre, so if he pushes Jake just that little bit too much, he's going to overheat his tyres, and then if Jake overheats his tyres, it's going to be a done deal for Phil. Easy overtake then.
Yeah, bear in mind obviously that Jake is on those soft compound tyres. You could argue the fact Phil doesn't really need to push or get into those sort of precarious positions, because ultimately Jake is going to have to be coming in the next 3 or 4 laps anyway.
Yeah, I'd say another 4 laps, and then I do think that will be the pit window from lap 14 to 18. I think 18 is max on the soft tyres.
Well, we're on lap 13 of 66. Quarter of the way through.
Closing up on Ryan Leah. Within DRS range now.
Yeah, Gary McKenny indeed. But a little bit off. I don't think he's going to be able to make that move down into turn 1. Certainly getting close on the back of him. But no, he's not going to quite be there to make the move. Tom Stevens, though, now is 4/10 off the back of Jake Sorrell. He was just over 1.2 seconds. He's now closed it right down. I mean, where is he getting this speed from? I don't get it. It's just amazing. He's considerably faster than anybody else, it seems, on that track at the moment, and he's on the hard compound tyre.
Don't forget, he's an esport driver for a reason.
Yeah, that still doesn't explain how he gets more speed out of his car. Look at it, he's trying to make the move into 10 on Jake Sorrell. Wheel-to-wheel contact there between the Ferrari and the Mercedes. They're coming round 12 now. I've got to say, Tom really seems to, I mean, I wouldn't say he's lost his mojo, because he hasn't. It's always been there, but this is the most aggressive and the fastest I've seen Tom. I've seen him fast, but he's really setting a phenomenal pace here. Look at this. Straight past that Ferrari. Before they even get past the pit exit, he's past the Ferrari down into turn 1. I mean, that is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really satisfying if you go on board with him. At least for me it is. But actually, Gary McKenny overtaking Ryan Lee, and Jamie Good as well coming in there. Ooh.
Yeah, Jamie Good takes advantage of that as well, that the door that Gary McKenny opens up as he comes past Ryan Leah in the Alfa Romeo. He's
Ryan
followed close behind.
2 places in one corner.
And Jamie Good trying to get a peek in there, trying to see where he can make the move on Gary McKenny. Really going left and right, looking for every opportunity, harassing that McLaren car ahead of him. Absolutely fantastic driving there. Very good from this new driver to F1 Tonight UK. And quickly cut back to Sean Gregory there, because Sean Gregory now is on the tail of Jake Sorrell. Clearly,
I think
those
Jake's
softs have dropped off now, haven't they?
Those
softs have gone now, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, 100%.
So is Jake Sorrell going to come into the pits? Yes, he is. No great surprise there.
So does Ross Milburn.
Ross Milburn into the pits as well. So Phil Harris assumes P1 position, as we said he would. But Tom Stevens, well, I was counting on the fact that Tom, yeah, phenomenal. I was counting on the fact that Tom would stay behind Phil Harris and assume first place when Phil Harris came in. I'm looking at it now, and I don't think that's going to be the case, is it, Nicky?
No, it isn't. Ross Milburn came back on track in 4th position with fresh medium tyres.
Tony Foster
picking up 5 segment.
Yeah, coming into the pits. So you can see all the soft runners now come into the pits, going on to those medium compound tyres. So Ross Milburn comes out in P4. Jake Sorrell comes out in P7. Gary McKenny in 9. Tony Foster still in the pits. I would assume he's going to be coming out in his position of 10. So first pit stops done and underway. Next pit stop will be the medium runners, and we would expect them to be coming in round about the mid to high 20s. Let's have a look at our drivers as they stand at this moment in time. Danny Burt for Haas, Dylan Platt for Alfa Romeo, Tom Johnson for Renault, Sean Street for Racing Point, and Jack Wilson for Rocket Williams. They have DNF'd. In 12th place, we have Cameron Widdowson. That's the remaining Renault driver. So he is currently in P12, just out of the points. In P11, we have Adrian Rich in the Red Bull. He's also out of the points as it stands at this moment in time. Then we have P10. That's Tony Foster in the Ferrari. So he's in the points at this moment in time. Gary McKinney in the McLaren is P9. Josh Diggles, who started in that P1 position, he's dropped down to P8, but not to be taken away from him. Fantastic pole start for Josh Diggles, just not quite able to maintain it. He is now in P8. Jake Sorrell, who has been driving a fantastic race, he's come off those softs, gone onto a set of mediums. He's currently in the P7 position. Then we have Ryan Lear for Alfa Romeo, still out on those medium compound tyres. He's up into 6th place, and he's going to be challenging Jamie Good soon enough. Jamie Good, that's in the Racing Point there, is currently in P5. Ross Milburn. Sorry?
Lead change.
Oh yeah, Phil Harris. Oh, lead change coming up, sorry.
Tom Stevens is
Tom Stevens,
down the gap to Phil Harris.
Tom Stevens.
So he's into 1st place now.
Yeah, Tom Stevens makes that move, but Phil Harris isn't letting him get away with it easily. But yeah, I think that was a foregone conclusion, to be honest with you, Nikki. I mean, you know, Phil Harris is still pushing. He's applying the pressure. But Tom Stevens indeed does take that P1 position. And I'm just amazed. I mean, it's a fantastic race from Tom Stevens. He really has come alive here at this circuit, the Barcelona Catalunya. Really showing his capability and ability there. So Tom Stevens takes that P1 place. Phil Harris, who was in P1, but he's now dropped down to P2. Still nothing to be taken away from Phil Harris. He's having a great season. And a great race as well in that P2 place. And Sean Gregory in the Toro Rosso is in that P3 position. As we know, Ross Milburn, his teammate, is in P4, but he's nearly 12 seconds behind him at this moment in time. Okay, so obviously this field's starting to spread out somewhat now, Nikki. We've got 12 drivers remaining. Tom Stevens, look, set the fastest at 122.8. 122.8.
Even Ross Milburn didn't do that on his fresh medium tyres.
Well, I'm amazed on two. Well, actually, I'm amazed on.
He's done 22.9. Ross Milburn.
Ross Milbur's done a 22.9, which is all great, and a good run from him. In fact, a great run from him, because it equally applies to Ross Milburn, but only to a degree. Ross is obviously on the medium tyres, but you know, Tom Stevens is on the hardest compound tyre. He has got. He must have got obviously those tyres, you know, alive very, very quickly indeed. We know that he's going to go probably, well, at least another 20 laps on those. The question is how much of an interval is he going to open up? Because if he opens up a big enough interval, we could see him going onto the soft compound tyre, because he'll have a pit in hand, so he could actually go soft to close the race.
Yeah, but he's not there yet. I mean, Ross Milburn only 16 seconds behind him.
Yeah, but Nikki, look at that time. Look, 1.185.
I do expect them both to be coming in at the same time. So, yeah, he's going to have a 16-second gap then.
He's going to have a 16-second, not including the gap that he's going to have as he builds up, as he gets ahead of these guys. He's already, you know, a second ahead of Phil Harris, although Phil Harris is obviously laying the pressure down. He's staying with him. You know, he is easily going to open up a gap sufficient for him to have a pit in hand, and he could go on to that really aggressive two-stop and go soft.
Yeah, or just one soft, and you just ease off at the end.
Yeah, could do. I mean, he can play it either way, really, can't he?
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is going to be something to keep an eye on, certainly. I mean, Phil, now this is the thing now, isn't it? Because it's really, really important for Phil to stay as close as he possibly can to Tom Stevens until he comes into pit. He's got to really keep that gap as tight as possible, hasn't he?
Yeah, he does. I mean, he's going to disappear behind Tom Stevens in about, I'd say, another 12 laps.
Yeah.
Then depending on what tyre he's going on, he really needs to push to maybe be able to challenge Tom Stevens at the end of the race.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, he's got to keep.
He's got the best cards at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to keep that gap. I'd say under 5 seconds before he pits to Tom Stevens to stand any chance at all of trying to challenge him later on in the race once they've pitted and gone on to different compound tyres. But even saying that, it's still a big ask.
It is.
Got to say, I mean,
Tom Stevens slowly pulling away now.
He is starting to slowly pull away. It's still that gap still sitting around the second. So I've got to say, I think Phil Harris is doing a great job. My question, though, is in doing that great job, how much is he taking out of his tyres? Because this is the thing, isn't it?
He doesn't overheat his tyres. They'll lose traction or lose grip very quickly.
It's a really, really tough call to make there. But I mean, either way, Phil Harris is looking pretty solid at this moment in time. Sean Gregory and Ross Milburn, the two Toro Rosso drivers. Ross Milburn closed down that gap, was around about 11.5 seconds. It's now down to just over 9.5. So he's taken a couple of seconds out of his teammate Sean Gregory ahead of him. Both those are on the medium set of tyres, but obviously Sean Gregory on the older set. Ross Milburn will assume that P3 position. I mean, looking at this, we're a third of the way basically through the race now. We're on lap 20. Do you think we're going to see these two Toro Rosso guys fighting it out for that last place on the podium towards the end of this race? Because it seems to be looking that way at this moment.
Really early doors. I mean, yeah, could be, but anything can happen, and it most certainly will.
Nikki, you've learnt that very well. You learnt that very well. What if season 5 taught you that?
No, not really.
I was saying that from the point of view, obviously, that was a horrible season for you. I mean, you're having a blinding season, obviously, this year. But as I said to you, season 5, you had loads of luck. Unfortunately, it was all bad, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, most of it.
Yeah. So, Nikki is leading the way at the moment in the F1 Tonight Netherlands League by quite a substantial gap, I have to say.
Yeah, twice as much points as P2, and P2 is actually my teammate, so... Yeah.
So, Red Bull are certainly waving the flag in the Netherlands, that's for sure. We are here now with the UK. Cameron,
Adrian Rich is slowly closing up to Tony Foster. The gap is about 2.8 seconds at the moment. I think Adrian made a slight mistake, because it was less than 1 second at one point. We also got Jake Sorrell behind Jamie Good.
Yeah, and Jake is definitely closing down now on the back of that racing point. Obviously, he's on a much fresher set of those medium tyres. Came in, did come out in P7, so got past Ryan Lear. Now, obviously, gunning for Jake Sorrell, and you've got to say he's closing down quite rapidly on him. Very likely to look to try and make the move out of 9, but I suspect on the next lap he should be on the gearbox of that racing point and look to make the move so he can move up into that P5 position. But as Nikki rightly says, anything can happen. So we are now officially 1/3 of the way through the race, lap 22 of 66. This is F1 Tonight UK Season 1 Race 5 here in Spain for the Spanish Grand Prix at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. I just like Circuit de Catalunya personally. I don't like the Barcelona in the middle. It doesn't work for me. I don't know what you think, Nikki. It doesn't, does it?
No.
It's the Circuit de Catalunya. Yeah, Catalunya. Oh, dearie me. Well, we are still with Jake Sorrell now as he's closing down 4/10 now off the back of Jamie Good. Clearly going to look to make that move as they come down that start-finish straight.
Got sector 3, Gary McKenny retired.
No. So Gary McKenny
coming out of 9 days. No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's have a look. I think it's actually into 11. Just on board with Tony Foster. No, it's actually 12. Looks like 12. Yeah, there he is on the left-hand side there. Yeah, so as they come out of 11 into 12, and I've got to say, that is...
It's that bump on the left-hand side of the corner.
Yeah, when you hit turn 11, you've got a very high raised curve there, very similar, obviously, to those you see there on the chicane. Well. Yeah, and it really does throw the car if you hit it wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does really. Adrian Rich is actually within the second now of Tony Foster.
Adrian is indeed starting to bear down now. The Red Bull bearing down on the back of that Ferrari.
Tom Stevens having a new fastest lap.
Tom Stevens, 1:22.784. But Jake Searle still on the back there. Thought he was going to make the move in the previous lap. Couldn't quite make it. 6/10 off. He lost a lot of time out of those final corners on Jamie Good. So 6/10 off the back of him on the previous lap. Wasn't able to close it down. 7/10 now. He's not going to be able to close it down again. Clearly, Jake Searle, he seems to be struggling somewhat more in that third sector, where Jamie Good seems to have a better time, a faster pace, basically.
Yeah, he does, but Jamie is running, his fuel is marginal, and Jake is not got that. So Jake can push that a little bit more.
See him here, look at this. I mean, he is literally gulping in the exhaust fumes of that racing point ahead of him now.
Adrian within 5 seconds of Tony Foster at the moment, coming to the straight. Oh, just
too far off now, he's lost it there.
Yeah, he lost it in the last corner.
So, back to Jake Searle now. Tony Stevens, another fastest lap, 1:22.342. 4/10 faster than the previous lap. This guy is just unbelievable today.
Yeah, he is.
Absolutely phenomenal. Oh, right, and Jamie Good into the pits. That's released Jake Searle now. So Jake Searle will move up into 5th place. So Jamie Good comes off those medium tyres on lap 23, the end of lap 23. So that immediately signals to me that those medium runners on those longer running tyres, such as Phil Harris, Sean Gregory, are very likely to be coming in within the next lap or two. And that's pretty much what we were... Well, I don't know, they could go a bit deeper, but I guess it's how hard they've been pushing, obviously full fuel load as well. So Phil Harris coming down to turn 10. He's currently in P2. He's 3.3 seconds off the back of Tom Stevens. And I've got to say, that's pretty good going, considering that Tom's been setting the fastest laps. He's stayed respectable. I said he needed to stay certainly within that 5-second gap, and he's certainly maintaining that. Yeah, when does he come in? Now, yeah, so Phil Harris comes in now. Good move, I think, from Phil Harris there. Sean Gregory coming round now. Is he going in? No, Sean Gregory is staying out.
So 24 laps is a bit early for mediums.
Yeah, but I think Phil Harris is looking at the longer game there. Doesn't want to lose too much time. And we'll see how it comes, because Sean Gregory was behind him. Phil Harris was ahead of him. Obviously, it's all going to depend if Sean Gregory can get the effectively the overcut here, because that's what he's going to be looking at, or indeed whether Phil Harris is going to get the undercut once Sean Gregory comes in. We'll need to keep an eye on that, because that's where it's going to be interesting. Ryan Lear, he's in the pits as well after 24, so another driver on those mediums. Josh Diggle's still out there. He's on 23 lap old, so slightly younger obviously, because he lost his nose unfortunately in lap 2, which is why he obviously unfortunately dropped down the order, even though starting in that P1 position. Jamie Good, he's in P7. He's come out onto a nice fresh set of medium tyres. Ryan Lear equally coming out on a fresh set of mediums. Tony Foster, he's just coming round now, P9. He has got Adrian Rich on the back of him. 8/10 off the back of him. I don't think it's going to be enough to make the move before they get down to turn 1 though, Nicky.
Nah, might be. Nah, there's not going to be enough.
No. Just a little bit out of there, but yeah, definitely a pressure being applied here by the Red Bull driver, Adrian Rich, on that Ferrari, isn't it?
Yeah, he is. It's really gone back and forth for the last couple of laps. Seems Adrian being a little bit sloppy on some of his corner exits that allows Tony Foster to pull away from him again. Yeah. It really seems that Sector 3 favours Tony.
Yeah.
Sean Gregory coming into the pits as well now.
Yeah, Sean Gregory in now as well. He's going on to a nice fresh set of mediums. So Sean Gregory's going to try and see if he can. He hasn't got out. Look, he has lost big time. He has lost big time because Jake Sorrell has now jumped between him and Phil Harris. Yeah, I think Phil definitely made the right move there because Sean was just off the back of Phil Harris. Jake Sorrell, though, has now assumed that position, moved up into P4. And Sean Gregory is 12 seconds off the back of Phil Harris there. So didn't quite pan out for Sean, I think, as much as he would have liked to, but worked very well indeed for Phil Harris. Nice fresh set of mediums. He's 23 seconds off the back of Tom Stevens. And that's really important because if you recall, I was talking earlier about the fact that Tom could build up that gap.
Yeah, Harris actually setting the fastest lap as well now.
Yeah, a 121.5. So I really think, I mean, Tom may not necessarily be, he may not necessarily challenge Tom Stevens for that P1 position, but he's certainly making it hard. He's certainly putting in a good show here at this moment in time, Phil Harris, isn't he?
He is. So he actually lost, what is it, about 17 seconds, 18 seconds in the pits?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's still looking good for P2. Obviously.
Definitely solid, yeah.
The fresh tyres, he's going to be fighting soon.
And the thing is, Nikki,
soon.
as you said, I mean, you know, let's not forget, anything can happen. You know, Tom Stevens has done some fantastic starts of races, but we've seen him DNF in the past too. So if I was Phil Harris, I'd be sitting there thinking, okay, I'm into P2, but this guy's DNF'd the past 2 races. I stand a good chance of taking this P1 position here today.
Yeah.
So that could be another mindset that he might have there.
Yeah, could be. Could well be.
I mean, he's got nothing to lose by it, certainly.
No, nothing to lose, only to gain.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
there's not really any stopping Tom Stevens today.
Well, no, I don't think so, I've got to say. Ross Milburn is currently in that P2 place, but Phil Harris is closing down on him on the fresher medium tyres. Jake Sorrell is in P4. Sean Gregory, P5. Tom Stevens, 3-second time penalty. He doesn't want too many of those.
No, those could really hurt at the end of the race.
Yeah, we've seen it happen quite a few times. So Sean Gregory in P5, Josh Diggles is in 6, Jamie Good in 7, Ryan Lear is in 8, Tony Foster 9, 10 Adrian Rich in the points, and Cameron Widdowson bringing up the rear at the moment in P11 in that Renault. Okay, so we are on lap 29 of 66, rapidly approaching the halfway mark. We've seen Tom Stevens, well, started at the back, and actually, let's remind ourselves where he actually started. That's the one I want. So he started in P15, and he's gone 14 places. He was up there very quickly indeed. I think it was lap 16. He actually managed...
Turn 1, he already overtook 4 guys.
Yeah. Well, by lap 2, he was 9 ahead. So Tom Stevens very, very much, come alive here. Ross Milburn currently sitting in P2. That's where he was on the grid. Phil Harris, as I said, in P3. So he's gone up 1 from 4. Up 3 from 7, Jake Sorrell. So good run there from the Ferrari driver. Sean Gregory down 2 from 3. Josh Diggles, he's down 5 from 1. Jamie Good, he's up 7 from 14. Ryan Lear's down 2 from 6. Tony Foster is in 9, said 10, Adrian Rich, and 11 is Cameron Widdowson. But Tom Stevens, he is really just pulling away from these guys at this moment in time. And yeah, it is certainly something to watch. Just keep my fingers crossed that it all goes well. I'm just trying to work out how much of a potential lead he can actually have at the end. This all depends on what pit stops he's actually going to go for. Nikki, I mean, looking at this, obviously, Tom is clearly pushing those hard tyres. That would suggest to me that they may not go as deep as we were thinking. You know, that being the case...
Could still be.
Could still be, but, you know, it's possible that we might actually see him coming in probably, you know, end of 30s, early 40. Well, we said mid-40s, didn't we, that he could do it. But I'm wondering if he's not going to come in a bit earlier, maybe sort of lap 35, 36 and get onto those mediums. Because he's effectively got, you know, a pit stop in hand. He could always close on the softs if they wasn't working for him.
He could well do.
I mean, I thought he might go soft, but I think that might be... I don't know, he could still do it. He could still come in and go on to a set of soft. But I've got a sneaking suspicion he's going to come in earlier. I think he's going to come in probably lap 35, 36, actually.
No, yeah, probably. I'd say if he pushes it to about 40, 42, he can go on a set of soft. Well, that might be a bit too far. It says Phil Harris actually closes up to Ross Milburn.
Yeah, Phil Harris is closing right up here to Ross Milburn.
Really closing up to Jet Tour at the moment.
Yeah, so we've got the Williams closing on the Toro Rosso. And the Toro Rosso, Sean Gregory closing in on the Ferrari. And this is the difference now. We're seeing, obviously, they're all on the mediums, but obviously Phil Harris and Sean Gregory on a much fresher set of mediums. And you can see the difference in those tyres already, can't you?
Yeah, really, yeah. Sean's tyres are really just really fresh still, so lots of grip. Where Jake's tyres have done 17 laps already, so yeah, you can really feel that difference. There you go.
Yeah, Sean Gregory.
And Jake spins. Touched the rear wheel of Sean Gregory. So it's a shame.
So Jake Sorrell has indeed spun, unfortunately. Made a little bit of contact with the Toro Rosso of Sean Gregory. Phil Harris, in the meantime, 12.5 seconds or so down the road, is harassing.
In 5 tenths to Ross Milburn now.
Yeah. So coming down to 10. Ross Milburn staying ahead, but it's a challenge because Phil is definitely laying down some extreme pressure here. And I expect Phil to look to make their move. He's 5.5 tenths. It could be a bit of a push. 6 tenths as they cross the DRS detection.
It's possible, although Ross has a little bit better exit there. But Phil's gaining right now.
Yeah, I don't think that Phil's going to necessarily get... I don't know. Yeah, he does. Yeah, sorry. Stand corrected on that one. Phil Harris easily actually passed the Toro Rosso there.
You need about 7 tenths then I'd break him.
So Phil Harris gets ahead of Ross Milburn on the track, and that's an important move for Phil, done on track rather than in the pit. So that moves him up into P2. He's now 20 seconds off Tom Stevens. I've got to say, this is still looking good for Phil Harris. He may be 20 seconds off the back of Tom, but he's doing a great race there. Fantastic race, actually.
If you can see what Tom's times are. Tom's is basically doing consistently 22 highs, 22.7, 22.8. Then Phil is doing 22 lows, so 22.3, 22.2. So if he keeps pushing, he might be able to close the gap a bit further.
But Tom Stevens is actually, I'm looking at this now, looking at his ERS as well, he's actually stretching out. He's in relaxed mode. Let's put it like that. He's in relaxed mode. He's got into the zone. He's cruising. Yeah, he is cruising. And that, to me, immediately says that my theory that he might come in round about lap 35, 36 is actually completely blowing out the window. He is definitely looking to go deep, into the 40s and definitely get into that window for those softs, I think.
Yeah, he's definitely going to do that, especially because he's basically got a very good fight with Josh Diggles. Only touch each other, both are out. Oh, Jamie good.
Just missed it, and that was into turn 1. Sorry, I just missed that.
That's a well shown, that is.
I just missed that. Was it turn 1 or turn 2? There's roundabout there.
Turn 2,
yeah, you can see the two cars there on the left-hand side. Jamie Good and Josh Diggles both out, and what a crying shame there. Nikki, I mean, you were watching it. What happened?
Jamie was going to overtake Josh Diggles. Josh was on the outside of turn 1. Basically, just on his old tyres, just lost the rear, then counter-steered, and then steered into the left-hand side rear of Jamie Good, and that basically spun them both out.
Oh no! What a crying shame. Crying shame, but racing incident, no malice certainly intended on that. But no. That's 2 drivers out now, so we are actually now down to 9 drivers. So under current FOTUK rules, even though we're only just over halfway through the race, those drivers will get.
Not anymore.
Oh, not anymore. Oh, sorry. Okay, so the 90% rule is now applied as per FIA, correct?
Yeah. So basically, if the race has been driven for 90%, anyone who crashes after that and gets classified within the top 10 will still get the point. That's what we do with UK now. Not sure how it's been settled on the Dutch side. But for UK, this is how we do it from now on. So unfortunately for Jamie Good, on his inaugural race, he's not going to get a point.
Okay, so don't pick up a point. This is a little bit of discussion, just an interpretation of rules. It happens as much in sim racing as it does in real world racing. So that interpretation has now been clarified and runs as per the current FIA rules. And as Nikki pointed out, that means basically as long as you've completed 90% or more of the race, if you do crash out and you do still come up on the scoreboard in the top 10, you will get those points. If you are outside of those 90% and you finish in the top 10, tough, you don't get anything.
That's basically how it is.
Other than the bill for the repair of the car.
Yeah. More or less.
Okay, so let's get this classified. We've started with 17. We've lost 8. We're down to 9 runners with 30... Where are we? 29 laps remaining of this race. So, Cameron Widdowson stuck in there. Good show from Cameron Widdowson. Not necessarily the fastest on track today, but he's in the points, and he's got 2 points, 2 championship points. All he's got to do is just stay on the track. So Jordan Marshall pressed the wrong one there. Cameron Widdowson in the Renault, doing a fantastic job at this moment in time. In P8, we have Adrian Rich, 3 championship points up for grabs for the Red Bull. Certainly need them, don't they, this season?
Yeah, definitely. They haven't had the best season so far.
No. And obviously Adrian missing his teammate as he's celebrating his 18th birthday today. So once again, big shout out to Thomas Cook. Happy 18th to you, sir. And you better make sure you're back next week for Monaco. That's going to be an interesting one. So Adrian Rich at this moment in time is in that P8 position. Tony Foster for Ferrari is in P7. Good, strong placing there for Tony Foster. And Ferrari look like they're going to be putting up some good points for both the cars for this Spanish Grand Prix. Ryan Leah in the Alfa Romeo. He's currently in P6. And yeah, solid race from him. I mean, great shame, obviously, we lost Dylan Platt earlier on, but I suppose Dylan can afford to lose one race at the moment. He's convincingly leading the championship. He's actually, let me see, he's 26 points ahead of Phil Harris. So actually, Phil Harris is going to get that little bit closer to him, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, he will be.
Yeah. So not totally safe, but reasonably. So Ryan Leah for Alfa Romeo currently in P6. Jake Sorrell for Ferrari is in a solid P5 at this moment. Although I get the feeling that he's probably going to finish, likely actually to finish P4. So we'll see how that pans out. But at this moment in time, I'd say he's looking strong for a P4 finish. Sean Gregory in the Toro Rosso. He is currently in that P4 position. And yeah, not looking, well, he's done a good race, to be fair. But I think him and Jake Sorrell, they've already been fighting it out, and I think they're going to fight it out again towards the close of this race. Ross Milburn, his teammate, well, he's currently in P3. Just getting past Tony Foster there, lapping Tony Foster. Coming round in P3. He's only just over 3.5 seconds off the back of Phil Harris, but I suspect that he's not going to be running too much deeper. Obviously, he's on his second set of mediums there. Done 24 laps. He'll probably go, what, 20, 28? 29 maybe?
Did he start? No, he started on the soft tyre.
Yeah.
But I'd say he's going to go to another set of mediums, to be honest.
Well, that being the case, I'm surprised he didn't come in at the end of lap 23, actually. Unless he's planning in, obviously, coming in a lap at the end of this lap. So that's Ross Milburn. He's currently in that P3 position. Phil Harris is in that P2 position, and he's keeping it clean. He's still 20 seconds off the back.
He hasn't lost too much time to Tom
No, he
Stevens,
hasn't.
in all fairness.
He hasn't. He's still within that 20-second window, which is fantastic. Certainly where he wants to be, if not even less so. So, yeah, he's definitely bringing it to the party today, Phil Harris. And of course, last but no means least, Tom is into the pits. So, lap 39, Tom has come into the pits. He's gone on to the mediums. Now, where is he going to come out with relation to Phil Harris? Phil Harris just coming round 15 now. He will get out ahead of him.
No, Phil's going to take the lead.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be close.
Is he go? Yeah, he is. Just.
It's going to be close. It's going to be very, very close.
He's just going to take the lead.
Oh, only just, though.
Ross Milburn in the pits as well.
So 19.5 seconds, roughly, is what we're looking at then on that
Ross Milburn
pit stop.
Not a set of mediums.
Ross Milburn into the pits, going on to another set of mediums. So he has come in after 24 laps. Didn't go to 25. Now this is really interesting. Tom Stevens now off the back of Phil Harris on a fresh set of medium tyres. You're going to have to say advantage Tom at this moment in time, aren't you?
Oh yeah, 100%. Tom's got just very fresh set of mediums, and Harris has actually done 14 laps in this set already. Yeah, definite advantage for Tom.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Just needs to keep his nose clean, and then nearly ran into the back of him. That was very close.
That was very close indeed, actually. So he's going to have him now, surely, on this straight. Side by side as they're coming down. Phil
didn't have any left.
Hasn't got anything left in the can, basically. So Tom Stevens, as was expected, gets ahead of Phil Harris there. Great run there from Tom Stevens, but equally good from Phil Harris. I mean, Phil's still in the mix He's going to have to come into the pits. Question is how deep. We're on lap 41 of 66. 25 laps remaining. Phil Harris on 15 lap old tyres. If he goes another 10 laps, he only needs to do 15, and I suspect he's going to go onto the softs, isn't he? So probably round about lap 51.
Gets over in the pits as well. Just comes out, no, does he?
So second,
he comes out on a fresh set of mediums.
Second round of pit stops been going on the past few laps here, and then the field should even itself out. I've just seen an interesting call here. Adrian Rich, he went onto those hard compound tyres. I missed that earlier on lap 30. That being the case, he's looking to go to the end of the race on those hards, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Actually, the interval between him and Tony is 10 seconds only. And closing as well, if I'm not mistaken. Let Ross Milburn through.
Yeah, just letting Ross Milburn through there, Adrian. But Adrian's looking quite solid here. Obviously, Tony Foster, he's on the mediums. He's going to be coming in.
Tony's into the pits now.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tony's surely going to be coming in. That releases then Adrian. And Adrian should come out round about 9 seconds ahead of Tony Foster.
Had a 5-second penalty. Yeah, so it's going to take the pressure off Adrian for now.
Yeah, so Adrian Rich for Red Bull moves up into that P7 place. He's got Ryan Lee ahead of him on 15 lap old mediums.
That gap's 51 seconds then.
Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's going to be. Even if Ryan comes in and pits,
no,
I don't think he's going to be able to take that P6, is he? I think P7 is as good as it's going to get.
Ryan is able to come in twice.
Yeah, I think Adrian is going to. P7 is as good as it's going to get for the Red Bull driver, but still, valuable points at the end of the day. He's still going to pick up 6 points, so nothing to be sniffed at on that side. But anything can happen, and it normally does. Not going to focus too much on that. Tom Stevens setting the fastest lap again, 121.223 this time, now that he's on those medium tyres. Fantastic. Ryan Lear, he's currently in P6. He's 2.5 seconds off the back of Jake Sorrell, but again, unlikely to catch with him. Sorry, Nikki, who picked up another time penalty?
Tom Stevens did like a lap ago, and Phil Harris just got one.
So he's still 3 seconds. So there is still, I mean, at the moment they're level pegging because Tom Stevens has got 2 warnings of 3 seconds, and Phil Harris has got 1, as far as I can recall, and certainly from what you were saying there, Nikki. So that means that at the moment they're actually more or less neck and neck.
They are for now, definitely. Tom Stevens actually got 6 seconds. 6. Yeah, Tom Stevens got 6 seconds worth of penalties.
Yeah, Phil Harris 3, so 3 is the deficit. Jake Sorrell in 5th place at this moment in time. He is 32 seconds though off the back of Ross Milburn in 4th. They're on equal tyres again. I can't see Jake, barring any incident, getting close there. And again, look at that, Tom Stevens at 120.602. He's flying.
He's cranked it up. Oh, he hasn't even cranked it up. He's in mode 0, he is.
He's in mode 0, but yet he's got 1.7 seconds already on Phil Harris. That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Okay, so Jake Sorrell, he's in P5. Ross Milburn is looking solid on that P4. I thought that Jake might be able to challenge him, but hasn't quite panned out that way. Sorry, Sean Gregory I was actually looking at as well. But Toro Rosso's, again, look at this. 3 and 4, Ross Milburn 4, Sean Gregory 3. They're really, if they maintain this place, a podium finish and a 4th place, they're really going to be picking up some very valuable points today.
Oh, they definitely are. Ross Milburn's actually looking very good for the podium. Because Sean Gregory needs the pit to get his tyre.
Because he's done 2 sets of mediums, so he needs to go on to a set of softs.
So he needs to do another set. So there's probably going to be soft tyres. Well, yeah. Definitely got to be soft tyres.
So again, to refresh or to make those aware that may be new to the racing, refresh the memory of those that aren't so new. Drivers must complete the race having used 2 different sets of tyres. So in this particular case, Sean Gregory has used 2 sets of medium, so he's going to have to come in before the end of this race. He's going to have to go, well, not have to go, but one would suspect he will go onto a set of softs. That will then obviously release Ross Milburn, who's currently just under 2.7 seconds off his teammate, although I suspect that he may actually make the move on track, not too sure, up into 3rd place. So Ross Milburn will be looking at this moment in time to finish 3rd on the podium as they stand. Sean Gregory, should take 4th, but he will be fighting it out with Jake Sorrell, as I said earlier, so you should expect a fight between the Ferrari and the Toro Rosso towards the closing stages of this race for that P4 position. Phil Harris looking strong, certainly in that Rocket Williams at this moment in time for that P2 position. And Tom Stevens just dominating this race from start to finish. Well, not start, because obviously he started in P15, but certainly from early doors, he charged through the field, quickly got up into that P1 position. I think it was around about lap 18. And has just stayed there, really, hasn't he? And just ploughed the field, basically.
Yeah, really outstanding performance. Can't say anything else. There's just 20 laps left, so
yeah.
Still, what can happen, obviously, and usually will do, but
yeah, we've seen it happen all too often before. Indeed. We actually had last week in Baku 3 cars finish the race, so we can safely say anything can happen. But at this moment in time, Tom Stevens looking for, I'd like to, an easy win, but it hasn't been easy, has it? I mean, he has done a phenomenal job. I just can't believe it. From P15, he has done an amazing job to get up there and to get the gap that he's got as well. The advantage that he's got at this moment on track is absolutely fantastic. He's actually coming up here at the moment, looks like to lap Cameron Widdowson in the Renault. Cameron moving across. Tom, just picking up a little bit of
a toe,
indeed, off the Renault. Coming down into turn 1. So great run there. Phil Harris in that P2, as I say. And look at that, the gap now is 8 seconds. Tom has really opened up those valves. He really has opened it up. Sean Gregory still in that P3.
More than a second a lap, he's pulling that way.
He's fantastic. Yeah, it's amazing. Jake Sorrell seems to be losing time at this moment in time. He's 37 seconds off the back of Ross Milburn. I wonder if he had any little mishap on the track there.
Well, I'm not too sure. I mean, Ryan Leah is not really closing in on him either. I'm not sure what's going on there, to be honest.
Yeah, a bit of an odd one. But now look at this, Ross Milburn said he was going to look to challenge his teammate, likely before he came into the pits, and indeed he's just under 8 tenths off the back of him as they're coming up towards turn 9. They will have the DRS. So whether Ross Milburn looks to make the move, I don't think there's going to be any fight there from Sean Gregory, but I think he needs to get a lot closer before Sean's going to let him pass. Could let him turn 10, but no. Pass the slap again, Tom Stevens, 120.2.
Yeah, absolutely astonishing. Interesting to see who is going to take the fastest lap in the end, because we are going to have some drivers on the first set of soft compound tyres, so interesting.
The likes of let's have a look. Yeah, certainly Phil Harris is going to have to come in. So Phil Harris is going to have to come in. Sean Gregory is going to have to come in. Ryan Leah, possibly Cameron Widdowson, but they will be going on to the soft compound tyre. So Ross Milburn now 3 tenths off the back of his teammate. Going to be looking to make the move, if not before, certainly out of turn. Oh, locking up down front left there into 5. God, a brake dust coming off that front. Yeah, they are pushing it. They're not being easy on one another. But as I said, I would expect
turning up his ERS now, so he's going to go past there. More than likely.
Sean Gregory not going to make it easy for him though.
What? No.
He's not going to make it easy. No team orders.
Team orders there.
No, definitely no team orders with Team Toro Rosso at this moment in time, because Ross Milburn is having to work for his dinner tonight. Sean Gregory not making it easy, but he should have him on the straight here. Yeah, he's 6/10 off the back of him. It's going to be less than that. 5/10, 5.8 should make a pretty straightforward move on his teammate now. Down that start-finish straight. And again, but Sean Gregory not making it. Look at this side by side. They've got to be careful with contact. There was a little bit of tyre-to-tyre contact there.
That was a bit cheeky, that was.
There was definitely tyre-to-tyre contact there.
That was.
So Ross Milburn backing off his teammate there. I wonder, I'd like to hear what the team radio might be at this moment in time.
I'm not too sure. I can sort of guess.
Yeah, I can put a bit of a stab in the dark into that one. But I mean, is it necessary? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, Sean's going to have to come in, and Ross is going to get past him. Ross doesn't need to pit anymore.
No.
You know, you could say it's not necessary and it's risky, because they're looking at some very good points here, apiece. I mean, you know, 15 and 12 points, 27 points for the team to be had here. The last thing you want to do is wipe each other out.
Yeah, it's never a good thing, wiping out your teammate or going off together.
Yeah.
I mean, it can happen obviously, but it's never a good thing.
So Ross again, he's 5/10 off his teammate, but Sean Gregory has dialed it up there. I mean, Sean Gregory's definitely dialed up his ERS on that straight there. Switching from Ross.
Yeah. Oh, Tom Steve is another time penalty. That's 9 seconds.
So that's 9 seconds out of 6 seconds deficit he has to Phil Harris, even though the gap is 12 seconds as it stands at this moment in time. Tom's got 16 laps. He can go to the end on those mediums, but I'm wondering if he can go to the end the way that he's pushing them.
Yeah, that is going to be interesting. Another thing I noticed, what I was seeing, if Phil's going to go into the pits, he's going to come out of the pits right in front or just behind Ross Milburn.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting fight for P2, actually, then.
Exactly. Yeah, that is true. And he's going to be very close. If he's not, yeah, he's going to be either close, very close in front of him, or very, very close behind him. Well spotted there, Nikki.
Ross Milburn lining up for an overtake now.
Yeah, definitely. Ross is getting lined up again to try and make the move. Much closer this time. Should make it a straightforward move as he gets past his teammate. But Sean Gregory again, he's not giving him any quarter. Look at this.
And they touch, and
he spins.
That's a great
dearie
shame.
me. But I've got to say, Nikki, I've got to say though, you could see that coming, couldn't you?
Yeah. It was eventually going to happen anyways. But it is a great shame, I must admit. I
mean, still in that P4 place, obviously, Sean Gregory, so they're still, you know, in the hunt for those points. But I've got to say, Nikki, unnecessary. I mean, you know, Ross had got past him. Sean Gregory didn't really need to challenge, and he wasn't bringing anything to the party by so doing. No, it was a silly move, in my opinion. There's definitely going to be some words flying around at the team garage. I suspect there will be some harsh words or some interesting words between the two of them. But there we have it. Ross Milburn eventually gets past his teammate, gets up into that P3 pace. So Phil Harris is in the pits. There are 14 laps remaining. He's going to go onto those soft compound tyres. Where is he going to come out in relation to Ross Milburn? Ross Milburn now on the straight. Phil Harris just coming out of his pit box. Ross Milburn will get ahead of him, but how far behind is Phil Harris going to be? Not very far at all. A couple of seconds. Yeah, 2.3. So Phil Harris comes in a little bit further behind Ross Milburn than not expected, but 2.4 seconds. He's on a set of soft compound tyres. Should make pretty short work of him. Sean Gregory into the pits as well, as you say. He's come onto a set of softs as well. And he's clearly ahead of Jake Searle. Jake Searle just coming out of 15. Sean Gregory just coming into 1. So that P4 place is looking good. As you said, Nikki.
Ryan Lee in the pits.
We're looking at a fight here for that P2, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. It's going to be interesting to see if Ross is going to be able to withstand the fresh tyres of Phil Harris. It's going to be a task and a half, though, to keep him behind him.
It certainly is. Not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination at all.
Oh, you got a flag somewhere. What's that for? Oh, it's slowing down. Okay.
Okay, so this is F1 tonight. UK Season 1, Race 5, the Spanish Grand Prix here at the Circuit de Catalunya. And we are on the closing stages, 13 laps remaining of this race. And what a fantastic race it has been. Run through our runners and riders and DNFs. Danny Burt for Haas, Dylan Platt for Alfa Romeo, Tom Johnson for Renault, Sean Street for Racing Point, Jack Wilson for Rocket Williams, Gary McKenny for McLaren, Josh Diggles for Haas, and Jamie Good for Racing Point. Unfortunately, DNF'd. In 9th place, we have Cameron Widdowson for Renault. So he will be taking 2 points as it stands at this moment in time. Tony
Ross Milbur's
Foster,
getting sloppy. The P2 fight is going on.
Yeah, Ross Milburn and Phil Harris there. As expected, obviously Phil on the softer compound tyre. Should make pretty short work of this now. Phil Harris as they're coming down that straight.
There he comes.
Yeah. And Ross Milburn just really letting him through. No real point in fighting that.
Not even defending it.
Yeah.
You might be going for the long game here, just keeping his tyres sort of in the right order.
Yeah. Well, he's got 14
maybe looking to do something in the later stages.
He's got 12 laps to go on those mediums, 26 laps, so, you know, certainly doable. Fastest lap, Sean Gregory now, 120.2. Okay, so that's interesting. Sean Gregory set to 120.2. And he's on a nice fresh set of soft tyres. I'm wondering if Tom Stevens is actually going to come in or not, because I don't know, he doesn't really need to. I mean, even if Phil Harris, yeah, it's only 11 laps remaining. He's unless he can take out 3 seconds a lap from Tom Stevens, which I very much doubt. Tom's looking pretty solid at this moment in time. Phil Harris in that second place. Ross Milburn is in third. Sean Gregory is fourth. I was expecting to see a bit of a fight between Sean Gregory and Jake Searle, but Jake a bit off the mark there. He's just under 18 seconds away, and Cameron Wilson picking up 5 seconds.
5 seconds, yeah.
Phil Harris sets the fastest time, 190.5. So on those fresh, soft tyres, and as we expected on the closing stages of this race, those soft runners starting to set faster laps. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how that pans out. Ross Milburn now out of his pit box on a fresh set of softs as well. So Ross Milburn coming out. So got Adrian Rich coming up alongside him, just lets him out and through there. No point in contesting that one. So he's on a nice fresh set of softs. He's got Sean Gregory, his teammate, though. Only 3 seconds, just over 3.5 seconds off the back of him. So this could be interesting. We could see another Toro Rosso fight. Let's Yeah, we could
I think
easily
Ross
see
is
it.
going to go for fastest lap.
Well, but Sean Gregory's come out and he's on a... Well, Ross is definitely going to go there. Sean Gregory is behind him. About 3.7 seconds at this moment in time. So we could see a fight actually between those Toro Rossos. So let's see how that one works out. Having a quick look down the field here. So, as I was saying earlier, obviously Adrian Rich, he'll be looking to finish in that P7 place. Good solid points there for Red Bull, very important as he doesn't have his teammate with him. Ryan Lear in the Alfa Romeo, he's currently P6, and got to say, looks as if he's going to be maintaining that place.
Adrian going in as well.
Adrian is going into the pits, so he's going to go for a soft compound tyre, I suspect. He didn't really need to do that, but then he's got a pit in hand, so he's got nothing to lose by it. Jake Sorrell out on track at this moment in time. He's currently in that P5. He's coming to the pits as well.
Jake in as well.
So Jake coming in onto a set of softs as well. So, okay, that's interesting.
Interesting, because he's got to be under pressure from Ryan Lear then.
Yeah, definitely going to be under pressure.
Ryan coming out of 12 now. Into 13. Has he stopped already? Yeah, he has.
We should see how that pans
Ryan
out.
coming out of the last corner. He stays ahead, but does he have the pace? It's going to be...
Jake Sorrell is in that P5 place. Ryan Lear still just under 5 seconds behind him. Adrian Rich stays in that P7. He's now on a fresh set of softs. Tony Foster still out there on those mediums. He's clearly going to go to the end of the race on those. Don't think you can see him come in. Cameron Widdowson gone on to the softs as well. Tom Stevens still leading the way.
Oh, Ross Melbourne fastest lap, 19.3.
These guys, Tom's just got too big a lead here. They're not really going to be able to eat sufficiently into it. And indeed, he's maintaining that gap. It's still sitting at 32.3 seconds. Actually, let's go on board and watch a quick lap here with Tom Stevens. Get a feel for his on-board style. Nicky's been saying he's got a great driving style. Let's see it firsthand. Okay, so here we are with Tom Stevens now as he comes round 9. I was trying to keep quiet for the lap, but couldn't quite manage it into 10. And you've got to say, Nicky, I do agree with you. It's very smooth, isn't it?
Yeah, he is. It's like a train on rails, it is. No effort. Nearly no effort.
A great run from him there. Very, very impressive.
Very impressive race so far. Let's see, who's close to one another. Yeah, no one's really close to each other, is it? You've got Sean Gregory 6.5 seconds behind Ross Milburn at the moment. Ryan Lear at the same to Jake Sorrell, so yeah. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, it certainly will be. Had enough of the top there.
We could do with a cheeky safety car right now.
Yeah, 7 laps to go. Yeah, a safety car would certainly make it very interesting, Nicky. There's no two ways about that. But I've got to say, I'm just impressed with Tom because he's still maintaining that gap. Okay, it's Phil Harris has closed down somewhat,
Yeah, only 2 seconds.
But only a couple of seconds, exactly. There's just nothing in it at this moment in time. Sean Gregory, I was looking at, thinking that he might be closing down to his teammate. 7 laps remaining. Still a possibility, but I've got to say, Ross Milburn, I think he's just got the better pace at this moment, so he should keep that 3rd place. I don't think we're going to see the same sort of inter-team challenge happening for that last place on the podium.
No, I doubt that. Very much doubt that.
So there are only 6 laps remaining now for this race. Time rapidly approaching for the close. And I've got to say, as we've said all along,
2 hours going into the pits now. Ooh, that's going to be very... Was he going into the pit for?
I have no idea. Phil Harris into the pits again.
If he's going to do it to get the fastest lap, this is going to... Ross Milburn's going to overtake him now.
I was going to say, surely Ross Milburn's going to overtake him.
Yeah.
I mean, Ross Milburn, well, he does stay ahead of him. He does stay ahead of him, but only just.
But we're going to go to a big friend race director.
Because Phil Harris has got penalties, hasn't he?
Yeah. And Ross Milburn hasn't, as far as I've seen.
No, I don't think he does. So a 3 second.
Oh, he does. 3 seconds, Ross Milburn. So does Phil Harris.
So they're both on equal points, so it's level pegging there.
Oh, Ross actually got 6 seconds.
Oh, right. So Phil is actually 3, nearly 4 seconds ahead of him in real time in that case once that comes in. But still, still a questionable call. I've got to say, Nikki, I still think it's a bit questionable.
Yeah.
Do you need to put yourself in the danger zone, really, when you're going to get 2nd place anyway?
I can see it from Phil's point of view. I mean, obviously he's only got, 26 points behind Dylan Platt at the moment. So he wants to maximise what he can get today. But to risk it like this, I mean, if you get ensued into a battle with someone just because of that fastest lap, I'm not too sure if it's worth it, even though he is pulling away now quite quickly. But there's always that chance that you tangle with someone else. It can be over in a heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely. It can all change very, very quickly indeed. So we are on board with Ross Milburn at this moment in time. He is in that P3 place. Sean Gregory is in P4. P5 is Jake Sorrell. 6 is Ryan Leah. 7 is Adrian Rich. 8 is Tony Foster. 9, Cameron Widdowson sticking in there. Tom Stevens just dominating now. That gap obviously opened up. It was down to about 31 seconds. But Phil Harris came in, went on to a fresh set of softs. Did manage to stay ahead of Ross Milburn, although ourselves here in the commentary box, a bit scratching our heads on that one. But I'm sure all will become apparent. I mean, obviously, Phil stays ahead of Ross Milburn. No questions will be asked, but I guess. But anyway, we'll see how that works out. We are on lap 62, 66. This is F1 Tonight UK. Phil Harris saying the fastest lap there, 1:19.0. I think you were calling it right there, Nikki. He's just looking to try and maximise. He'd had enough. Yeah. He'd had the best out of those soft tyres. He wanted to go onto a fresh side, thinking that he could set a faster time, and indeed he has, and that's an extra point for him, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Especially with Dylan not scoring anything right now. It's and Tom Stevens going in.
Oh, Tom Stevens is into the pits. Well, to be fair, he's going to come out and still be 25 seconds ahead. Anyway, he's going to go for the fastest lap. He's thinking, well, okay, Phil, you want to go fastest lap? No problem. I will respond, sir. I mean, if you go to Phil Harris, Phil Harris is only just coming out of 9. Tom Stevens coming out of the pits.
Jake Sorrell spun, coming out of...
that was out of the chicane 13-14. Yeah. Sorry, 14-15. So Jake
It's
Sorrell.
given Ryan Lee the opportunity to close right up to him. Only 2 seconds now.
Yeah, it is indeed. Only 2 seconds the gap between Ryan Lee and Jake Sorrell now. Jake spins into 14.15, the last chicane. Sean Gregory in 4th, looking comfortable there. Ross Milburn looking good for 3. Phil Harris, 30 seconds behind Tom Stevens still, who's come in and pit. Yeah, Tom Stevens just coming down out of 5 into 6, 7 now. But Tom's clearly going to be looking to go for that fastest lap. Take that point away, and he does. Oh, he's got a 3-second time penalty.
Not a second penalty.
He's still safe.
Seconds.
Still safe. Still safe at this moment in time.
It's very easily done. Very easily done. Ryan Lee is smelling blood at the moment. He's closing right up to Jake. He took another 3/10 out of him this lap only.
Yeah, he is, and it's 2 laps remaining. I think we could easily see a fight here for that
Jake
P5
is
place.
Without ERS nearly. This is really going to give Ryan the opportunity to close right up and maybe even go for a P5. A bit of a scrap.
I think we are going to see a scrap here in the final lap, actually, between P6 Ryan Lear and P5 Jake Sorrell in the Ferrari. It's going to be interesting. Both Ferrari engines, both Italian teams. So, are we going to see a red on white? And look at that, Ryan Lear is really starting to close down to him now. 2 laps remaining.
Oh, Sean Gregory in the pits now.
Okay, Sean Gregory coming in.
Well, yellow sector 2.
He's looking safe.
Someone by.
Tom Stevens just about to come round. Start his penultimate lap. So Tom Stevens.
18.4.
Look at that, 18.4, phenomenal. Tom
That's
Stevens.
what I done on my qualifying.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, he should be running on pretty much fumes by now anyway.
Yeah, true.
So Tom Stevens setting the fastest lap, well in the lead there. He's got that P1 place as it stands at this moment in time, pretty much sewn up. Phil Harris.
Is that enough? He's lost nearly a second in the last 2 sectors.
Who's that?
Ryan Lear and Jake Sorrell.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he has. I think that challenge for P5 doesn't look like it's going to be happening. Jake Sorrell maintaining that P5. He's just coming up to lap his teammate, Tony Foster. Lets him pass there as they come up towards 8. Sean Gregory just coming round the final chicane to start his 65th lap. And he's in P4. Ross Milburn. He's in P3. Coming round, turn 6 now. Phil Harris just coming up round 9. Tom Stevens starts the 66th lap, the final lap. Let's go on board with him for his final lap. And I've got to say, great race from Tom Stevens, isn't it?
Yeah, even before the race is finished, I'd say driver of the day, 100%.
Yeah, I've got to absolutely.
Stunning performance.
Yeah, 100% agree with you on that one, Nicky. He's definitely taken that driver. I mean, to start in P15, yeah, it is quite something.
It really is showing who's got the biggest kahunas here.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh God. Ryan actually closing up to 1.3 seconds now, but they're both out of ERS. Jake actually made a little bit of a mistake there.
Well, Tom Stevens now in the final sector, coming round the final set of corners. Tom Stevens comes round the final corner, turn 16, on the start, finish straight, takes the win here in Spain at the Circuit de Catalunya, and what a convincing win it has been for Tom. Absolutely fantastic race from him, start to finish.
You can't make it, just can't make it. Oh, yes, he does. Does he? Oh, it's going to be close. Oh, no, not.
Phil Harris.
It's very close between them, especially with penalty points as well. So
yeah, Phil Harris coming round, and he will take P2. Great run there from Phil Harris. And P3, great run again from Ross Milburn on the podium, third race in a row. Great race there from Ross Milburn for Toro Rosso. Those are our podium finishers.
Yeah, Sean Gregory coming up to the last corner now to finish this race. That will conclude tonight's race. Going to go to the podiums now. See what's going to go on there. As my lovely colleague is going to get some things ready for the podium interviews. Yeah, there we go. Mercedes first, Williams second, Toro Rosso third. Absolutely nice race. And like we said, Tom Stevens deserved to be driver of the day today. Very mature drive. Very amazing. There you go. Last podium finishes. Full classification. Tom Stevens P1, Phil Harris P2, Ross Milburn P3, Sean Gregory P4, Jake Sorrell P5, Ryan Leah P6, Adrian Rich P7, Tony Foster P8, last classified Cameron Widdowson P9. And then the ones that didn't finish, Jamie Good, Josh Diggles, Gary McKenney, Jack Wilson, Sean Street, and Tom Johnson, Dylan Platt, and Daniel Bird.
Okay, Nikki, so we're going to cut over now to Phoebe, who will be conducting the podium interviews. Phoebe, I just want to say we'll come back to Nikki because we'll get him in the chat here. So if you can go on the Xbox, we'll get you in the chat, Nikki. Phoebe, good evening to you. How are you today?
It is good to join you after what has been an phenomenal and exciting race round the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona, Spain. First of all, I would like to start things off with our winner tonight, Tom Stevens himself. Now, we know from the last race out in Azerbaijan, Baku, that Tom hasn't had, shall we say, the best of luck with races at the moment. But tonight, Tom, that was a phenomenal race. That drive from starting in sort of P15. Yeah, just that drive starting in P15, going up to win it. The strategy has been exceptional, showing some sort of great pace. Sort of, what was it like for you out there, sort of starting that far back, out of position, and knowing you've sort of got to work your way up to get into that, as opposed to, say, starting as something like P5, where it's just a couple of places you got to think about?
Yeah, so thank you, first of all. It was a tough race, but going to the start, I know I'm renowned for having good starts. However, due to my recent luck in the league, I wanted to take some care through the grid, but I still managed to get great progress.
Apologies for that. We seem to have lost the party there, but see if we can get back in.
Well, this is a great start to the first set of driver interviews on actual.
We're back.
Race.
We're back. Don't panic.
I was just about to invite you back here.
Where were we?
Yeah.
So, Tom, you were giving us the rundown,
there.
effectively, obviously you got a great start. Fantastic start. How did it progress from there?
Yeah, so I took it easy. I had to warm up because, of course, the qualifying ban lacked practice due to that. And yeah, so I had to warm up as the race progressed, but got through the grid quicker than expected and had a much bigger margin than I anticipated. But I did have penalty issues again this race, so thankfully there was no safety car to haunt me back to Australia.
I think the one thing that viewers are dying to know and all that after that race is with the tyres and all that. Usually, the harder compound tyre is the slowest. Throughout that first stint, it's like how did you manage to get such a blistering pace out of that tyre and be able to be so competitive and set consistent fastest laps in the 122s?
Yeah, you just have to know how much you're capable of, how much the car can cope on those set of tyres, and really maximise what you can get out of them. And that's exactly what I that's what I aimed to do, and I think I got close to it. So yeah.
I was planning on now going over to Phil, but he has appeared to have left the chat. I don't know if that's a disconnect or not. So
He's back. Where is he?
No, he's not back yet. So we'll head over to our third place position, Ross Milburn, and I think the first pressing question is obviously sort of what happened with that incident in lap 51, turn 1, making contact with your teammate, Sean Gregory, with the overtake, and sort of like what's your side of it and what happened there?
I don't think there was much to it. I feel like we're just flying over the same bit of track.
Yeah, it looked like it was a racing incident. It's just wheels touched 2 in 1. It doesn't happen, but it's just interesting to get the driver's side for it.
It almost happened on a race. Almost happened on a few laps beforehand with me doing what he did on his inside. We just kept on going for the same line pretty much.
Yeah. Alright, well, now that Phil has returned to join us, not a consistent drive there, second place. Congratulations on that. I think not much could be done to catch Tom with his sort of pace. So I'm guessing the decision to come in about lap 60, that was more trying to grab an extra point with the fastest lap.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just to close that gap to Dylan, but pretty boring race on my perspective until I had a couple of battles. But yeah, that was really it. Just trying to get the fastest lap before Tom ruined that.
Obviously, Dylan crashed out, so he doesn't get any points. So looking at it, that's 18 points. That now puts you up to, I think, 62 in the championship, and that's 12 points behind Platt going into Monaco. So, what do you think now, sort of championship-wise, going into the next race, knowing that you could possibly, depending on the results, be leading the championship after Monaco?
I don't know. It's early days right now, but yeah, we'll see how it goes in Monaco and then Canada and so forth. But when we've got people like Tom and Callum behind us, it's definitely going to be a fight for the rest of the season.
Right. Well, I'm gonna round it off there and hand back over to your commentators tonight to close off the show. It's back to Eddie and Nikki.
That's great. Thank you very much, Phoebe. Apologies for the little break there in the transmission. Bit of human error come into play, but we'll get that resolved. Great job there, Phoebe. Great job, guys. All the three top finishers there on the podium. Fantastic race. I think we can safely say that Tom is back with a vengeance. Phil Harris is certainly not going to let him get away with it easily. And he's already going to be challenging, as you quite rightly pointed out, Dylan Platt for the championship lead with Monaco coming up. And Ross Milburn, third in a row on the podium. Nikki, great race, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, big gaps at the end, but even though some good fights, some astonishing drive from Tom Stevens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really mature drive from Phil and Ross. Yeah, a really good drive as well. So overall, good race. Looking forward to the next one.
I think I can take it that you were suitably impressed with that, Nikki.
I was definitely impressed.
I get a feeling Nikki's going to be very soon WhatsApping Tom saying, what the hell was the setup that you used there, because I want it. But anyway.
I've already done that. But
yeah, I thought you might. I was
reluctant to send me something.
Wonder why. Okay, well, listen, thank you very much, everybody. We hope you've enjoyed it. We certainly have. Don't forget, this Thursday, F1 Tonight, Netherlands will be in Monaco. That's from 7:30 UK time, 8:30 Central European time. And this week, next Tuesday, the F1 Tonight UK boys will be in the Principality of Monaco, fighting it out for the championship. It's good night from me.
Good night from me.
Good night, everyone. Take care.